Morning, everyone, and welcome to the October 28th, 2025 meeting of Henderson County Fiscal Court. We are glad you're with us, and for those watching online, we're glad you're with us as well. We'll begin as we always do with an invocation, and Pastor Greg Shannon is with us from Chapel Hill Church. Greg, if you would lead us in prayer.
Let us pray. Lord, we're so gracious and thankful for the community that we live in. And Lord, we thank you for all these men and women who work behind the scenes so many times and some in front of us, Lord, that to make this community and to make this county great. And so, Lord, I just pray your blessing upon all the proceedings today. Lord, I pray for your divine wisdom and when it's needed. And Lord, just thank you for all that is said today. Lord, may it make us better and make our community better. And so, Lord, I just thank you for your grace, your mercy that is always available to us. And we just pray your blessings upon this day. In your holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Greg. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Magistrate Starks.
Here.
Magistrate Berry.
Here.
Magistrate Southard.
Here.
Magistrate Tompkins.
Yes, ma'am.
Magistrate Putman.
Here. Thank you. Gentlemen, you have before you in your packet the minutes of the October 14th, 2025 Fiscal Court meeting. After a period of review, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any other corrections, clarifications, or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Busy schedule today, but we will begin it as we do on special Tuesdays with our judges, scholar, and Nia Byrne from Cairo Elementary is with us. Please join me up here, Nia. We're going to read a proclamation in your own.
Whereas Nia Byrne has been chosen by Cairo Elementary School to be the recipient of the Judges Scholar Award for exceptional efforts in both academics and school activities. And whereas Nia's hard work and dedication in making the most of educational experiences and developing positive relationships with teachers and other students will lead to future success. And whereas success is measured in many different ways, whether it be passing a test, scoring the winning point, achieving a particular goal, or taking the necessary steps for overall improvement. And whereas the Henderson County school system could not let Nia's efforts go unnoticed, and whereas Henderson County Fiscal Court supports the school system and acknowledges these accomplishments as being significant because students such as Nia will be our future leaders. And now, therefore, I, Brad Schneider, County Judge Executive of Henderson, join with the Henderson County Fiscal Court to proclaim October 28, 2025 as Nia Byrne Day.
Congratulations, Naya. We know your family's very proud of you, and the school's very proud of you, and it's a big deal. It's your day today, and now you get to watch the proceeding from this side of the dais. Interesting. Mr. Gold will give you the play-by-play. Feel free to ask any questions you like. Congratulations. We have a proclamation to read in honor of Native American Heritage Month, and is Jimmy Dell with us? Want to come up? Want to introduce your guest and add anything else you'd like to say about the celebration?
This is Giselle Purdy. We're members of the DAR, and we should never forget the American heritage of our native of our country.
I have a brief reading. It's called the Indian Minute we have each month at our chapter meetings. So I'm a very fast reader because it's supposed to be a minute. So you have to really listen up. Master Sergeant Woodrow Woody Wilson Keeble, born in 1917, was a member of the Sioux tribe. He was one of the most highly decorated soldiers in North Dakota history and an impressive Native American military hero. He joined the North Dakota National Guard in 1942 and was a member of the company 1/3 Battalion, 164th Infantry Regiment on the Rifle Division. His unit became the first U.S. Army unit to engage in offensive operations in World War II when they reinforced the 1st Marine Division at Guadalcanal. It was during this mission that he received his first Bronze Star, his first of 4 Purple Hearts, and the Combat Infantryman Badge. He re-enlisted in 1951, serving in the 164th Infantry Regiment at the beginning of the Korean War. On October 20th, 1951, when all the officers of his company were killed or wounded, Keeble took charge of the support platoon, attempting to complete the company's mission of taking control of a steep, rocky, and heavily fortified hill. Despite needing treatment for over 80 shrapnel wounds, he returned to duty the next day. His heroic actions that day saved the lives of his fellow soldiers, earning him the Medal of Honor. For actions in combat, Master Sergeant Keeble received the Medal of Honor, the Distinguished Service Cross, the Silver Star, the Bronze Star, 4 Purple Hearts, and the Combat Infantryman Badge. My source is Honoring Native American Military Hero Soldiers, November 4th, 2022. Thank you all so much. And put on your calendars, February the 14th, the second Saturday in February, we will have our annual Daughters of the American Revolution tea. And everyone in this courtroom is invited, especially Mr. Putman, because he always shows up. So thank you, Mr. Putman. But
You're
we
welcome.
invite you all to come. And thank you for the proclamations that you give to us. We
Thank you.
appreciate it so
Thank
much.
you. We'll read the proclamation.
Whereas diverse indigenous communities have been an integral part of the American story for thousands of years, and November has been designated Native American Heritage Month to call attention to the culture, traditions, and achievements of our nation's original inhabitants and their descendants, and whereas there are 574 federally recognized American Indian and Alaskan Native tribes and villages, each with its unique culture, traditions, and language, and whereas their customs and traditions are respected and celebrated as part of the rich legacy throughout Kentucky and the United States, and whereas Native American Awareness Week began in 1976 and recognition was expanded by Congress and approved by President George Bush in August of 1990, designating the month of November as National American Indian Heritage Month, and whereas in honor of National American Indian Heritage Month, community celebrations as well as numerous cultural, artistic, educational, and historical activities have been planned. Now therefore, I, Brad Snyder, by virtue of the authority vested in me as County Judge Executive of the County of Henderson, Kentucky, do hereby proclaim November as National American Indian Heritage Month.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you do. Love the DAR. Next, we'll call up Brittany Smith and Melissa Collier from the Henderson Homeless Coalition to give an update on their good work.
You don't have them in your packet.
Is it?
It's in your packet, yeah.
Yeah, we got it.
But if you want to introduce yourself again, that'd be great.
I'm Melissa Collier, case manager for Daniel Pino.
And I'm Brittany Smith. I'm one of the board members. So we just wanted to come today and just give you an overview of how appreciative we are and how beneficial the funding was for the very first year of our Homeless Coalition. The Homeless Coalition opened the Henderson office, where we were able to have our case manager open in about July of 2024. And we had our ribbon cutting with the Attorney General, Ms. Jacqueline, in, I believe, August. So we hit the ground running. And so if you look, the community needs summary for 2024-2025, Melissa has done a phenomenal report here, and it ranks the need categories, and then it does the approximate count. Now, these numbers are from July 1st of 2024 to June 30th of 2025, because we want to give you a full year snapshot on that. And so you can see, of course, on needs, housing was ranked number 1. And you can kind of look down through their utilities. It was number 2 at 120. Food was 100 plus. We assume that after this weekend, food will go up on that number, that it may take over utilities by far. Children and family needs was 80 plus. Documentation identification, that is one area that we have really been able to help in this community in the last year, because you can't apply for any benefits if you don't have your Social Security card or your birth certificate. And many people that Melissa helps, their birth certificates are not from Kentucky. So, and I've been in her office before. I have seen her call 6 separate people at a state to say, please, can we get this for free? And some states are like, no. So, but, we've had to get them from Washington, the Carolinas, multiple places. But once people have those documents, it helps them be able to obtain a lot of other things, whether it is a real ID, whether it is a driver's license, housing, all of those things. Those documents are so important, and that's a lot of work that they've done. They also have set up a P.O. box, too, because the state made the new law where an address of an organization could be used for people to be able to obtain those documents, and that has helped us be able to help tremendously. So clothing and hygiene was 30 plus, and we also did the wash days that we told you guys about, where they went to the 2 local laundromats and just did a free wash day for many in the community, and those were a big success as well. If you look on the back, Melissa and them have also helped with employment and education. They work with Voc Rehab a lot. Transportation, we do want to thank the Heart System and Grits. They've both been wonderful partners. And then, other specific needs were furniture's bed. Melissa is a certified notary, so sometimes that's a person's issue, and she can do that for them as well. And then, just other odd and end things. So is there anything specific you want to mention in this one?
No.
So, the key insights that we found from the report was housing, utilities, and food were the top 3 urgent needs that represent over 75% of the requests that we received. Many households are homeless or at risk of homelessness, highlighting the critical need for rental assistance, eviction prevention, housing support. Children's needs, access, identification, and basic clothing hygiene remain significant concerns. Mental health, medical, and employment assistance, while less frequent, they are essential for long-term stability. So we try to build all of that inside that model, and then Melissa works with a multitude of other people in our community to connect her clients with those needs. So, we don't do any duplication of services. If somebody in the community is already providing it, Melissa is there to help them find that resource and to use that resource effectively. So, as I put it, some of it is just hand-holding, just kind of walking you through, some long paperwork processes and some other things that other people, they just find overwhelming sometimes. So some of our clients don't need any money from us. They just need a little guidance. So, the conclusion that we have is the data underscores the urgent need for coordinated community support programs addressing housing stability, food insecurity, utility assistance, And then other basic human needs. Of course, continued funding and resource allocation of these areas will have the greatest impact on reducing homelessness and improving the quality of life in our community. If you look to the next page, there's the actual numbers with the percentages. Homeless, 356 people, we do not duplicate. So if you've come to our office one time, then you already have a file. So if you come in again as a client, or we are continually doing case management with you, your number's only counted once in there. So that's 356 different people. That made up 63.6%. Housed was 195 people. While housed, many were still struggling with, instability or possibly needing to find better housing, whether that was for health concerns, safety concerns, things like that. At Habitat, we go on home visits a lot, and any of you are welcome to come on a home visit with us. The places that some people live, I don't think you'd want to enter, unfortunately. So, the at-risk was 175 people, that's 32.9%. And those are the people that are on the edge of homelessness that we tried to help with either rental help, utility assistance, or to connect them with those services like LIHEAP that Audubon area has. And so then the summary of needs are below that. The last thing that we wanted to show you guys was, of course, we do our winter count, which will be coming up at the last Wednesday in January, and that is the official homeless count. Ours is called the K count because we're in Kentucky. That one is by HUD. HUD picks the day that everybody in the U.S. does their homeless count, the last day in January. But we in Henderson decide to also do an H count. We kind of go above and beyond. And KHC, or Kentucky Housing Corporation, has actually asked us to continue sending those numbers to them so that they can kind of see what's going on in our community. They said we are one of the few communities within the state of Kentucky doing a second count when it's warm. They would love for all communities to do it, but fortunately some just don't have the manpower. I'm not going to say we have the manpower. We have a very dedicated group on our homeless coalition. And so for the sheltered count, and we do want to say a huge thank you, and Kendall being here today, a huge thank you to Kendall and also to Josh Bell. The sheltered count comes from our shelters, and we are so very lucky to have 2 shelters in our community. Many communities may not have one, much less 2, and we have 2 wonderful ones ran by 2 very good directors. And so as you can see on the summer fall count, they collectively had 36, and that date was the end of September is whenever we did that one. Mid-September, excuse me. And then on the unsheltered, we had 194 this year. Now, as Melissa and I have discussed, and our e-board has discussed, and our homeless coalition has discussed, you'll see it was 86 in 2024. I'm not so sure that our number's going up as much as we're getting truer counts, because Melissa and Jessica are working with people. These people know them, they trust them. I think we're getting more reliable reporting. Does that make sense? I hope I'm saying that correctly. I think some of these homeless have always been out there. They've just been a little leery about why we're asking the question or who we are. They see Melissa and Jessica on a regular basis, and they trust them, and they're more willing to give reports and really give us a true picture of what's going on. And so I think that's a partial reason for that 194. I do think we have some more homeless in our area too, due to the cost of living rising, affordable housing. Unfortunately, we always need more of that. But some of the cases we do believe are also just people that were not reporting to us before. So I'm not just staring at you, Taylor. You just happen to be right there.
It's okay.
I feel like I'm just
It's
just
okay.
talking to Taylor.
It's okay.
But we didn't want to take up a lot of time from you guys today, but we did want to make sure that you knew what was going on, knew how much and how appreciative we are for your, how much your funding had helped, how appreciative we are. And does anybody have any questions for us?
I just was going to say that until I started doing this, I didn't realize how big of an issue this really was and just how big of an impact you guys have. So I'm super appreciative of the job you guys do, because most of the time I would imagine it's not as appreciated as it should be. So just know that I feel like I can say that we all very much appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you.
Brittany, and you think that the rise in the number was due to lack of reporting, people was keeping it to themselves? That's why it jumped substantially from 24 to...
I think some of it was, but, we do know we have more homeless, just from clients that Melissa has seen, people who have lost their housing, or also people that were staying with other people. Maybe that's not an option anymore. The reason we do the age count too is because Melissa, I'm going to take a quote from something she said, if I knock on your door, Mr. Putnam, and I say, it's 5 degrees outside, can I sleep on your couch? And you're going to say, yes, oh my gosh, come in. When it's 75 degrees outside, I think it's about 65 the day we did this, I'm less likely to be knocking on your door. I'm probably confined somewhere, to kind of weather through the night. Whereas when it's 5 below, when we do the HUD count, because it's been 5 degrees, it's snowed, we've had ice, people are more likely to let people stay in their homes too. So that count, we believe, is always going to be lower than our fall count as well. We believe our fall is a little mature.
Yeah, I see the same ones out there at One Life Church, rain, and then they kind of tent up there. And I guess, I don't know why they stay there. I know they can get shelter somewhere, can't they? Yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about.
They could definitely get shelter if they were willing to get shelter.
I got you. I know what you're saying. Yeah. There's rules you got to abide by. And
Well,
some of them,
Some of our homeless population here too are, I don't want to say comfortable, but comfortable.
no, I think you're right.
With the situation that they're in. We have a lot of people that come and are dedicated and want housing and want to get it quickly and, put all their cards on the table with us. And then we have some that say they want housing but do nothing to advance forward to obtain it. And, we try to get a median in between that, but you tend to help people that want to help themselves more than people that will just talk it and, they don't want to do anything. And not that that's the case with every homeless person here, but there is a handful.
And we do want to encourage the community, especially at Walmart. We've gotten a lot of reports at Walmart. Please do not hand money or anything else to the homeless. Melissa and her staff have a case manager phone. Please give them a call. Let them know if you find a homeless person somewhere. And then if they have not already made contact with that person, which 9 times out of 10 they already have, they have a case started with them, you know where they are. But if not, then that gives them, they know, that tells them where the people are, and also lets them go ahead and begin their outreach to that person, because it may be a person who, has not been found on our radar yet, and they may be willing to take that help. And we do want to kind of end, I know these last couple of weeks, they've gone by, and, it just seems like so much is going on. But we do want to end with a really happy thing that happened yesterday. With the help of Public Housing and Ms. Bobby Jarrett, we were able to get one of our homeless clients into an apartment with the Housing Authority. So the model's working. That's not our first client that we've been able to do that with, to get into housing or with Housing Authority. So Melissa and Jessica also, and many others, along with our shelters, they all work as a team. Henderson, to me, is a very special place. We have a lot of caring people. And so we just appreciate everybody.
And it's not just our office either. It's the whole village of people in Henderson that come together that makes this stuff happen here in Henderson for our homeless.
Well, we appreciate you.
Brittany, I got a
Absolutely.
question, and for both of you. And my question is a hard question to ask in the right way, and it's all positive, believe me. Y'all do a great job. My question is, you may think it's funny, but do you think we do such a good job, which we're going to continue to do, that I guess advertising, for the lack of a better word, to, say, Madisonville. They don't have a program as good as ours, and the news gets over there that, hey, go to Henderson, man, you can get food, you can get how, you can get, you know what I mean? I don't mean that bad at all.
Yeah.
But do you think it spreads, and I'm saying it because the numbers are up so much. You see what, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
So I'm from Henderson County. I live in Davis County currently, have for a while. And there's tons of resources for homeless in Davis County. I don't think people flock to Henderson because of the resources that are here.
That's kind of.
Yeah. A lot of times, there's not a bed at the shelter for men. We get a lot of calls from, it's Abby Black, for some reason, HPD. She calls us a lot. I mean, we love her to death. And we'll go out there, but 9 times out of 10, we can't even house them here, the homeless that we come in contact with, because the shelters are full. So we take them to Evansville, or we take them to Owensboro. The ones that want to go to shelter, should I say.
And we do want to thank the Latino Shelter for their continued partnership, because that does help us open up a lot more shelter opportunities, whether those are in the eastern side of the state for rehab, whether those are shelters in Owensboro. Chief Bolin, and along with, I know Kendall and Melissa have been to Evansville to make some connections at some shelters over there. So, it's, in my opinion, it's taking the entire state and the entire tri-state to kind of work together as well. And we do want to thank all of our neighboring partners too, for everything that they have been doing.
I just thought it wasn't a good way to ask it out.
No, I understand.
Positive, but don't make it wrong. I just wanted
No.
to-
And just for clarification, when you say you take these surveys, is that just in the city limits? Or it is countywide?
Yeah.
So this is a problem that does stretch outside of the incorporated limits?
Yeah, so on our H count, we use the same forms that we use for Kentucky Housing Corporation. When the K count is open in January, there's an app you can use, because Kentucky Housing Corporation and all the states use a thing called Counting Us. We use the same paper forms for our H count, so the metrics are all exactly the same. And we still do it just as one snapshot of one day. So that's just one day in Henderson. Then whenever you get the winter numbers from us in January, at the end of January, that's just one snapshot of one day. So we try to mirror that for the H count, so it's actually the same.
Also, these numbers in September, I want to say there was 11 or 12 that was displaced because of the flooding in Reed, that were homeless, that sleep in tents outside. I
Some
know there's
still are.
11, but I want to say 12 for some reason. So that's another reason why the numbers are higher too.
Well, and I guess my last question is, back then, like you say, temperatures were well above freezing. Now we're getting into those colder winter months. What are we going to do about these people that still don't have a place to go?
So emergency management last year was our biggest partner on that, Kenny Garrett and his team. All of February, we called a white flag, and that means that there are no barriers at the Father Bradley shelter or at the Harbor House. And so they will, Kenny has extra cots and things that he has gotten, and they will try to let extra people stay there when the temperature falls below a certain level. Those are called by emergency management. There's a whole protocol of those. Melissa and I can't call a white flag, but we try to assist in those as much as possible. So we do want to thank Kenny, because I think Kenny has just been like a little Energizer bunny this year. It just seems like when we get through one thing, he's just energizing to another, and he always does it with a smile and keeps us all updated, and I'm not sure when he sleeps. But
We work real closely with Kenny too during the winter months with the white flag situation.
And you
So we
also-
know when he's going to call it, in advance, how long it's going to be called for. We keep our phone on.
And the Salvation Army did open up.
I was about to
last
say
year
the
as well.
Salvation Army and
Yes.
the gathering place when it
There's no
can.
major.
Yeah, the gathering place, I don't know if they can stay there at night. And then there are also places open up during the day as well. I believe people go to JFK Center and some other places too.
Oh, I've heard.
So we do encourage any of you that share our information, please share it from Kenny's page directly, the emergency management page, or the Henderson County Homeless Coalition page, which is the new Facebook page that we have. And it'll have a picture of the state of Kentucky with a little heart over Henderson. So just make sure you're on ours, not Lexington's. And those are the two best places to share information, because as it's updated, that's the most up-to-date information of people, where people can go, and people really do watch those pages. You know, we ask how you get your most of your information. Most of them are getting it from Facebook or from calling that case manager home as well. So they do get a live person.
Brittany, just real quick, we were talking about Reed, the people in Reed. Am I right when I say there's still about 20 families out there that are in need or might be homeless?
I would have to ask Kelsey Dunham on that question. I don't want to speak out of turn on that one.
I'll say that there was actually a long-term recovery meeting out in Reed Friday, where they actually fed some folks, as many people that wanted to come that are still displaced, and that was the number that was put out, that they're getting closer, but they are still needing certain things like HVAC, and I ran into a guy at Lowe's yesterday who's putting in a new sink in his kitchen, so yeah, I think that's not too far off.
I guess my question would be, though, that's not in your homeless count.
11, it's either 11 or 12 of those, yes, of those people that reached out to us. We're actually on the long-term recovery group board or meeting, or as well with United Way.
Gotcha.
So we're in the loop there too.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes,
I
sir.
have one question with the documents and identifications. What's the average cost to get that?
Birth certificates, the average is about 40, 45. It just depends. Kentucky, certain states you can get them free if you're homeless, if you have an affidavit. And then you can get an ID, just an ID in Kentucky for free too if you're homeless.
Probably between $26 and $40,
Yeah.
depending on the location. Washington will give you one for free if you're there,
Yeah.
which clearly we're not. We're calling from Kentucky, so.
But we go through a bunch of loopholes trying to get them for free too, or as much reduced as we can. But once again, they can't sign up for anything or even get their ID to start work if they don't have a birth certificate. So that's crucial, not just for housing, but for employment too.
Y'all have my contact information, so if y'all need help with that, not that I know anybody to call, but maybe I can help you with the funding on that if you.
Okay, thank you so much.
One thing I'd like to talk about that you mentioned is the looming problem with EBT cards not being replenished because of the government shutdown. Are you very concerned about that with the population you serve?
We are. As soon as I went into the office on, I think it was a Friday, and I got a call about that from the local office here. So I got with Taylor Hetty, and we've already got a plan. We've did one food drive. We're going to give it out Monday. Our plan is 100 bags to do, and then another one we're doing. The next giveaway is the 22nd, but it's on our face. No, the giveaway is the 22nd.
And the next drop-off date is November 1st, this Saturday, as long as weather's. No, it's not. Sorry.
It's on our Facebook page. I'm so sorry. I didn't bring that flyer with us. But we're hoping to give out 100 bags each time that we are doing the food drive. And you don't have to bring any documents. You just get in line and we're going to give you a bag of food.
You think that'll go quickly and
I think it
not be
will.
enough?
We had people they thought it was a pickup day that we were doing donations. They were already trying to get food. But once again, as I told Vince, it's not just hurting the homeless. It's hurting everyday working people. Working people depend on EBT as well.
So I know it's only indirectly related, and I haven't had a chance to talk with you all about this, but I've been following this issue more and more in the last week as we get closer and there appears to be no solution to the government shutdown. We're going to have dozens and dozens of families who are in a corner with this. And I'd like to, if we can, discuss making a couple of donations out of our ARPA funds. We continue to get interest payments from our ARPA funds, and that's uncommitted at this point. And I'm wondering if helping say, Christian Community Outreach and the Salvation Army buy more foodstuffs while families continue to navigate the shutdown, do you think that would be effective? And do you work with Salvation Army and Christian Community Outreach typically to help people with food?
We do. The Salvation Army doesn't give food to homeless, though. It's just something that they've stopped doing. Christian Outreach does give to anybody, but I know the Salvation Army, they won't if you're homeless.
No,
Well,
they
they
do provide the meals.
They do have
Yes.
the soup kitchen. every
Yes,
day, so yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
at
and the
11.
majors do still have the case managers of the.
Have you been having
Years on the
internal
board.
discussions about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still chairman.
Butch, have you been having internal discussions about this issue?
Well, yeah, we talked about it last Friday, matter of fact, and food insecurity is a real deal, even in our community. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
you know, dry goods things, not so much as the issue as it is meat.
I'm
you
talking
know-
about this EBT situation.
It's going to hit, Judge. Yeah,
Okay.
you know,
And we do work very closely with Salvation Army, try to encourage people to go use the soup kitchen as much as they possibly can. And then, and anything else the Salvation Army offers. And then Melissa and her, and Jessica and the coalition members, they work very closely with HCCO to,
Oh, yeah.
any partnership that you guys have in mind.
yeah, we're going to say it's all going to pick up when they don't issue those cards November, so.
This is going to become acute really
Yes.
quickly here.
So
Yeah.
the food bags that y'all are handing out, what, next week?
We're having that Monday, start Monday
Okay.
10 to 2.
Are you handing out, you said 100, right?
We have, that is our goal, is to hand out 100. If we get more, we'll do more, but,
Oh. If you get more,
food donations,
okay, so
yeah.
you're depending on the donations or the funds that you have. That's the reason why it's 100, not 500.
Correct. And the community really poured out last week and, brought tons of stuff that we were able to fill bags.
I'd like to suggest something, because again, I don't know of a reasonable end to the shutdown that I'm seeing. If it would be amenable, and here's another challenge. We will only have one meeting in November because of the holiday. I think it'll be like the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, if I'm not mistaken, right in there. So we won't get a chance necessarily to act on this again anytime soon in regular called meeting. And Steve, chime in here if there's any particular things that we need to channel on this if we approve. But I'd like to consider making another donation from our ARPA funds to Salvation Army, Homeless Coalition, and Christian Community Outreach in the sum of, say, $18,000 to $20,000. Again, we can cover that just with the interest we've gotten this year on ARPA funds. Making donations to nonprofits is an eligible expense. And allow Steve and I to make the necessary steps to effectuate this as quickly as possible, since we won't be meeting in a month.
We'll need the treasurer involved as well.
Yeah.
I'll make a
Judge, what I
motion
need
to,
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to allow you guys to do whatever you need to do.
Let's craft this carefully.
I think it needs to be done as a grant for specific purposes.
Yeah.
It can't just be a giveaway.
Mr. Gold,
Yes, sir.
do I need to submit something from the Salvation Army, from the captains over there to write something?
I think once we
I-
decide
I
the
would
language.
encourage you to review the county code of ethics, but
Yeah.
since you're a board member.
I'd like to call Treasurer Ryder up as she's with us.
I might make a quick suggestion too, maybe the gathering place, because seniors are some of the ones that also face some of the most food.
Well,
Would that possibly qualify or not?
Well, I think they could go to these other locations. If we
Okay.
we divide it too much, I mean, it makes it ineffectual for the
Right.
three, but they can access these. So we'll need a vote to allocate ARPA funds, correct? We need a vote at that effect to a particular purpose for a particular reason. Am I correct in that? We need to have a record of that.
I question, the ARPA funds were to be designated at the end of December of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, the the ARPA funds were designated to be for road projects.
Mhm.
Now, I can go back and review the additional income that has been brought forth by the interest that's been earned, but there needs to be some research done on that part.
Okay. Okay.
Can we just take it out of the general fund?
We can do that, too.
I would say that would, at this point of where the ARPA funds stand, as far as the treasury and that sort, I would say that would probably be the best.
Okay. We do have that option. So, again, to act a little bit more quickly, if we could make a motion to allow me to work with the treasurer, county attorney, to facilitate the allocation of, say, $20,000.
Let's do 21.
21 evenly divided. 7,000 to Homeless Coalition, 7,000 to Salvation Army, and 7,000 to Christian Community Outreach for food provision while there's still a government shutdown. Is that acceptable?
I'll make the motion for that.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let's discuss this. Steve, any other further thoughts?
Brenda's more the expert in how money can and can't be spent.
Okay.
I'm deferring to her. It needs to be done as a grant for specific purposes.
Right.
It can't just be a giveaway. So I'm happy to work on whatever the grant terms are, in the parameters of our typical grants that we do in funding agreements. I just,
Yes.
I'm going to defer to Brenda on
There'll
I
have to
mean,
be
it would
some
have to follow the
specific-
same lines that we do with the other 501(c) grants that we issue, would it not?
Well, if
We're
we-
just adding to that total.
To Steve's point, grants for a specific purpose, we can come up with, we already have that purpose. We can massage that language to make sure
Right.
it's for that
Okay.
purpose.
It may also, in the end, be transferring it from the general fund to the LGEA fund, but that's something else we'll need to look at.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to allow us to go down that road to see if we can get that done and execute it. Is any other thoughts about that? We'll see what is possible. And so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're going to do the best we can to help here. And I hope it doesn't last very long, but there's no telling. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. And thanks for what you do.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Next, we have our rural and secondary road recommendation from KYTC. Is Matt West with us? There he is. Hi, Matt.
How y'all doing? My name is Matt West. I'm the branch manager for project delivery preservation for the Transportation Cabinet. I manage 6 counties. Project delivery and preservation is just our construction and maintenance branch. I manage Davis, Ohio, Hancock counties, and then Union, Henderson, Webster counties. With me today, I've got Jack Barton and Nate Bruner. They just recently graduated from Western this spring. They're engineers in training. So we had a recent resignation with our section supervisor here in the Henderson section, so they've stepped in and are learning on the fly. Then I got Matt Hughes, who is our public information officer. I did Webster and Union County 2 weeks ago, so those were my first fiscal court meetings with rural secondary in about 5 or 6 years. So I'm playing a little catch up on this. I'm supposed to point a certain way. All right, our rural and secondary program for Henderson County, those are funds that can be used for construction, reconstruction, maintenance, pretty well anything on a rural secondary route. It's got to be designated an RS route. It can't be a major primary or any other designation in our route log. Those are fall in our FDO 5 program, and we've got a bunch of those coming out that will be put out to construction this winter as well. But we can use these. We pick the route. Any RS route in Henderson County can be used. I mean, I've built bridges with them. I've done latex overlays. replaced culverts, done ditching, fixed slides, anything. But majority of the time, it's used for just simple old resurfacing the route. You get a lot of mileage out of it. The public appreciates that a lot. So the annual allocation of RS funds is determined by the FIS formula, and then part of that is carved out for flex funds for you all to use on your county routes. If you elect to do that, and I recommend you all keep the
I think
flex
we already
funds.
have, yeah.
Okay, I thought I saw that. This year, for fiscal year 25-26, there was a little over $1,024,000 rural secondary funds. 713,500 was kept for KYTC projects, and then there's a little discrepancy there on those numbers adding up because you all had a little over 91,000 that carried over to this year for flex funds. But you all have a little over $402,000 for your flex funds. Yeah, this is the other way. The first route we selected was Kentucky 1078, and these aren't in any order. There's just the two routes we picked. It was Kentucky 1078, going from Kentucky 416 and mile point 2.085 to Kentucky 812, which is mile point 6.132. It's a total a little over 4 miles. We're going to overlay the entire roadway. We will fix any base failures, and there are a couple of culverts that need to be replaced out there this winter before we resurface it. Hoping to get that completed for a little over $400,000. And then the other route was Kentucky 416. It stretches from Kentucky 136 to Middle Delaware Road, which is a little over 2.6 miles. Again, we're going to overlay that roadway with an inch of asphalt, fix any base failures, replace any failing culverts out there before we put that final surface on. So we like to try to replace all the culverts on a route before we resurface it. The public doesn't like us to resurface a road and then go out there and cut it up. So, and then the only thing I really need from you all is I think we've already got your flex fund approval for you all to keep those, but I need approval from the fiscal court to proceed with the KYTC recommended routes.
Get a motion approved.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other questions on the rural and secondary portion there, the state's portion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We did already go ahead and get the approval on the flex funds. I think Nick's spending it as fast as we can pay it down. We certainly can provide the minutes of the meetings, give you all the documentation, but anything else?
Nope. Any other questions you all have for us?
Are you able to get going pretty quickly on those projects?
Yes, they will be. We'll get those out this in the next couple of months to letting, and then those should be done by the end of the fiscal year, which is July or June 30th.
Oh, so you're not going to be able to start till next spring, probably?
Yeah, they'll be serviced. We got to put them out to bid, and then they'll be resurfaced in the spring. And over the winter, we will replace any culverts that we find damaged or needing to be replaced. And so in the spring, they should all both get resurfaced.
So I met with you back earlier in Geneva there, where we're looking on 136, cleaning that ditch and stuff out, and we're still on track.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We superintendent here retired, Jeff Stone. He retired,
Yes.
and then Mr. Bentley, Wes Bentley's been handling that. But I just got it on November 1. Have a new superintendent 2 started. I've hired Super 1. We've actually been able to hire and retain some folks in the Henderson maintenance facility. So it is on the list. Wanted to make sure the crops got out,
Right.
and we didn't want to damage any crops.
You knew that if you came here and talked to us, you're going to be asked about other projects.
Yes, I'll answer as best I can.
Well, I want to say that and I'm glad to see 2 gentlemen who are in the pipeline, hopefully, for long KYTC careers. But we do desperately need a local point of contact,
Yes.
and we had a couple retirements in a row that were people we knew well and had done a good job for us. So, and I know talent is hard to come by sometimes, and spreading resources because you've been worn thin, I know. But the quicker we can get kind of a name and a face here representing District 2 would be terrific. And you don't have to, and Denitra doesn't have to take as many phone calls and emails about.
And I'm working on that as well, to get a maintenance supervisor to manage all 3 of my maintenance counties. So they'll primarily focus on the construction side of things, to learn KYTC, learn our policies, procedures. Construction has a lot more rules. Whereas the maintenance, you're managing, they're young guys, they're managing 20-year seasoned KYTC employees, and so want to get them some experience and learn, and before they move to the maintenance side. But I have a position open, and hoping to fill that in the next week or two to help with that, and give you all the contact on the maintenance side of any little projects, because like I said, I'm doing my branch manager job, I'm doing the section supervisor job, trying to help train them, and they're doing a fantastic job while they're learning on the fly. So I've got some business cards I can give you all. I've got a baby due Monday, so.
Is that all? Is that all? Yeah.
Congratulations. But yes, so I hate to, I'll be out of pocket for a couple of weeks after that, but.
I will have to say, Matt, very good about answering the phone.
Very responsive, I agree.
And we appreciate it because.
So I'm gonna ask a quick question too, after I said thank you. I know there was a temporary fix there on that bridge at 416 that I talked to you about, where we had the collapsing in.
Yes.
And are they still planning on permanent fixing that or is that the permanent fix? Because I didn't know, I know we were talking, and they said, because it was pretty dangerous there for a while, and then we got to where it was at least passable there, so just a friendly reminder there, because you do a lot, and I know that. And
I have to.
You were the first person to help me, so I really appreciate that.
I'll have to, I can't recall it right now, because there was another one that we looked at that it was a culvert, arch culvert that was failing that Wes fixed. So
yes, he did fix. You're correct. That was different.
It was a 1-lane. Well,
yes.
wasn't a 2-lane road. It had white stripes on both sides, just 1 lane. But
yes, sir.
So that's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah,
but
no, that was appreciated too. Yes.
Let Matt get on his way. Probably
Yep,
got
yep.
8 other
Thank you,
guys
man.
to talk to.
Appreciate
Thank you
Matt.
very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Next is Mark Julian from the Henderson County Water District to give us an update.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks.
This is our October 2025 update for September's numbers. Just the highlights of my brief presentation here. We're making good strides with our water loss numbers. We're bringing those down. The project manager has Cody Kirby. He's the superintendent of Caldwell County, and he's got experience with rural water. He has been helping designing some spreadsheets and stuff for staff to use. We've concluded 1 round of leak detection on the eastern side of the county, and then we've got more repairs completed for the month. So all that is positive. Now we're shifting our focus as far as leak detection goes to the western side of the county. That's going to be the Corden and Smith Mills and Geneva areas. And then we'll also be working with our project manager and rural water during the next month in November to assist with any flow metering and selecting the locations for zone metering. What that really means in layman's terms is we're going to find locations in the distribution system where it's going to be advantageous for us to put zone meters so that we can better track where water's going. So all this is part and parcel to bringing these numbers down and continuing to run this water district effectively. We're also considering purchasing another leak detector so that the additional staff that we've brought on board, while they're out doing work orders in the system, that they can also use that tool while they're there to help find leaks. Zone meters, I was just speaking about that. They're going to determine the areas. Some will be at tanks and some will be out in the distribution system. But these zone meters can be put in by the district staff or contractor. No other company or funding would be needed, and then we're going to install approximately 10 of these system-wide. And like I said, those include meters at the tanks. One of the big things this month is that we got our sealed bids in for those, the new customer meters, the cellular-enabled ultrasonic meters that have no moving parts. We've ordered about over 1,000 of those, and we have selected Zone 5, which is the eastern side of the county, to put those in, and we did get sealed bids in, and we know the cost to do those per meter, and we're going to have a project kickoff meeting with that contractor that's been awarded the meter change-outs, and we'll be starting to get those scheduled soon. It won't take months to get those in. Basically, we're anticipating our first shipment around the 1st of November, and as soon as we can get this schedule, we're going to go ahead and start. The plan is, of course, once we get that about 1,000 meters swapped out from the old ones into the new at all these customers, we'll be coming back with another round, another purchase of about another 900 or so. The goal, again, is to replace about 1/3 of the meters in the system with these. With future projects, we'll get the other 2/3. We couldn't, even if we had the money, we couldn't replace them all at once because they'd all come due at once. And, you know, the big things here to remember, trying to simplify things, is there's leaks always present in a distribution system. We want to find them and fix them, and that job is never going to go away. The other part of that equation is we've got to increase the accuracy of the meters that are metering what we're able to charge our customers. So as these meters age, the ones that are in the ground, they're more in the customer's favor. And really, county water, we're just trying to maintain safe, reliable service to our customers, and of course, bill it accurately. So. Just real quick on mapping and GIS, this is an ongoing process. This is how we track maintenance operations in the distribution system, where things are, when's the last time it was checked. There's a framework that has been designed specifically for all the hydrants in the county. We have not embarked on getting all that completed, but we are starting. I'm trying to reallocate some personnel. We're even going to try to work on some Saturdays to try to get some of those the hydrants that are in the county. We're going to try to start this inventory. We're going to be taking pressures and really get somebody with hands and eyes on these hydrants, so that if there is a problem, we're going to know about it before something happens. On Saturday, there was a structure fire out in Niagara. I understand, well, I don't know that, so I won't say that, but I understand that there was an issue with a hydrant that one of the firefighters tried to hook up to. I've talked with EMA Director Kenny Garrett about this, and we went out and we did flush up and downstream of these hydrants. Right now, I'd be speculating at best of how any foreign debris got in those mains, but I can tell you from my experience in water systems, debris of that size, if it is in our mains, would be plugging up customer service lines, and we'd have a lot of people calling about that. So I'm not sure how the foreign material got in there. Looks like wood chips, but we have gone out and flushed, and we are actually trying to get this inventory started so that we can do a better job of flushing and finding out problems before they cause any problem for the firefighters doing their important job. I just wanted to touch on that real briefly. But that's why the mapping is so important, and getting those maps up to date, and all that is ongoing. Out of our 6 active purchase points with HWU, we're going to be replacing most, if not all, of our purchase meters, and we're going to try to go with the same technology that has no moving parts. That way we can make sure that we're being billed accurately for what we're getting from the city, the water we purchase and then resell to our customers. Meter testing that's going to be scheduled is going to be in compliance with the regulatory agencies, PSC and Division of Water. And then we're going to try to replace the endpoints on these meters. All this is meaning is this is how it's going to get those reads into a platform. And we're going to try to do it so that it's a one-stop shop, and we'll be able to see all of our data, customer and purchase points. It'll be one place. It's going to be easier for staff to look at this data and do the job that we've been tasked to do.
And to reiterate, the purchase of these new meters, while expensive, one of their value propositions is to help identify leaks, right? Because of the data they'll be able to collect.
Correct. Correct. The two that are the most important on our radar is 41 alternate. That meter started dying during the last read cycle, and so we had some estimated usage, and then 41 South and Roberts. But they all need to be replaced. Leak detection. Our project manager has been getting that new staff, both contractor and internal staff that does the leak detection, trained so that everybody's doing the same thing consistently, and we're starting to see really good results. You knew that we contracted a project manager, and then we're possibly looking at bringing on a couple more staff members for leak detection, internal, and another mapping tech. Because the quicker that we get these maps up to date, it's just going to help us overall. There's also some training and continuing ed that's scheduled for several new staff members as we've had some departures from staff, bring new people on. We're going to be, just on a side point, it's not really important to the project, but bringing county water and telling you what we're doing. We're going to be updating our billing software. It's time for a new iteration that'll be supported by the vendor. And so doing some computer stuff at the Water District office. And then we partnered with United Software and Systems for our IT services. All right, so during the month of September, we had 28 leaks repaired during the month. Most of the leaks that we're seeing, you can see from this slide, are service line leaks. And what that's really telling me as the superintendent is that once we get done with this water loss project over the course of the next 1.5, around about 2 years, future projects that we'll have to embark on as a water district is we're going to have to secure funding, grant and or loan, to try to do main replacements. So a section of Old Main, like 60 West, going out from Old Corden Road as you head west towards A.B. Chandler School and Corden, that main is from the late 60s and early 70s. So when we say a main replacement, all those services are tapped into that main. So we replace that old main, which is ripe for replacement because it's age. Everything has a service life and it's nearing the end of its age. We will renew those services. That means we'll tap those services back onto the new main. And that will be, that will make great strides towards maintaining this water district. You know, replacing that aging infrastructure, renewing those mains and renewing those services. There just was not the funding to do it with this project, but just want to let you know it's on our radar and we're looking at every grant opportunity we can. But 28 leaks fixed during the month. Things are getting better. That total you see at the bottom, there's an estimated loss column, and all this you see that at the bottom, leak total, flushing, and volunteer fire department usage and overflows, all that goes into the next slide, which is our water loss report to the Public Service Commission. So this is required by the PSC each month, and they're just only focused on what went on during that month. So if there is a discrepancy on an internal report versus one that's submitted to the PSC, you're going to see where the PSC report is just focused on September 1 through September 30th. Case in point, if there was a leak on August 29th that we became aware of and it didn't get fixed till September 5th, only thing that's going to go on this report is what happened during the month of September. I just wanted to clarify in case anybody had any question about that. Overall, numbers are looking better. You know, less than 20% water loss on this. We wouldn't have been able to get here without the community involvement, without the help from the fiscal court, and then of course our contractors and employees out there doing the job every day. So overall, numbers are looking better, but we still got a long way to go. It's a long process, but we're going to celebrate wins along the way. As you can tell, September, fall month, less overall people buying water, you know, as the weather's turning colder. And then, of course, we had that purchase meter that was starting to die, so there was some estimated usage on this report that made up our purchase total. Yeah, like I said, the monthly highlights, water loss is looking better. We still have a long way to go. We're continuing to do leak detection. We've got 1,000 meters that are estimated to ship 10/31, and we've got a sealed bid for the meter change outs, and we're going to be scheduling a project kickoff meeting soon. And we're planning on replacing 1,000 customer meters in Zone 5, which is the eastern side of the county. And then we're on track to fully utilize the hydrant money, the ARPA funds that the county has helped us out with. There's a lot of hydrants in the county, and we can't get to them all, but we plan on using that and having that submitted by the deadline so that we don't make trouble for Brenda with the deadline for ARPA funds. But did you all have any questions for me?
I noticed on your list of leaks you fixed, one was Countryside Drive in 283. That's in Webster County.
Yes, we do serve some small portions of Webster County.
Okay, just a
We
question.
do. Yes, sir.
Makes sense. Okay, thanks.
No problem. You're welcome.
Any other questions?
I just have a quick one.
sir.
You talked about the zone meters, and it mentioned in your notes that they're detrimental to water loss.
That's a typo. The zone meters help us track, like, we can see what's going in to
Yeah, I
each.
thought that was counterintuitive.
Yes, yes. That it's supposed to mean they're not detrimental.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Not's
about
a good
that.
word.
I
Thank you.
apologize. Any questions?
Any other questions?
Thanks, Mark.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Mark. It's that time of year again where we make our health insurance agreements, and our third-party administrator, DJ Story, is back with us, a longtime partner who's helped us tremendously give our employees the best plan we can, and we have some updates as we make agreements for next year, as well as a new item for employees. And with that, I'll turn the floor over to DJ.
Thanks, Judge. Thanks, magistrates, for having me again this year. Oh. Okay, perfect. All right, so yeah, we're going to dive into where we're at from a health insurance cost perspective, what the renewals look like, and recommendations for this year. As always, just ask if you have any questions. I'll do a brief financial overview, then the renewals, and then those recommendations there. So, plan financials, as a reminder, the Henderson County is a self-funded health plan. That means the majority of the costs of the plan are paid by the county. It's not a insurance premium that just goes to an insurance carrier. You guys are paying for a few components, administrative services through Anthem. You're paying for stop-loss insurance for high-cost claims, and then you're paying for the majority of your costs is coming from the claims themselves. When you total all of the costs, I factor it out for a per member per year amount here. And you see that our per member in the little light blue line jumped up in 25 to about 275. So we had increased membership. That's employees, spouses, and dependents that would be on the plan. And then our costs, though, did overall per member go down. We had that spike in 23, and that's kind of leveled itself back off. What they always say from an actuarial perspective with health insurance, especially self-funded health insurance, is that 1 out of every 5, 2 out of every 10, you're going to have that kind of large loss year. And thankfully, we've moved back in the right direction. This is atypical from what I'm seeing in the market right now. We've got a lot of health insurance inflationary costs that are coming. So the fact that we're kind of moved back the right direction is a positive, but we do kind of have to review that year by year and see where we're tracking to. So that's a positive thing. Where our costs come from. So again, like I mentioned, the majority of your costs are coming from claims. That's going to be that lighter or that blue box that's at the bottom of these graphics. That's the amount of claims that we had come in on the health plan in 2025. That's what we're projecting we will finish with. The red bar, the very small red bar for this year is stop loss reimbursement. So if we have a cost of a claimant that exceeds that stop loss threshold, I think it's 100,000. Is it 100,000? I've done quite a few of these this time of year, so I always get myself confused. So $100,000. That means if DJ is on the Henderson County's plan and I have a $500,000 claim, Henderson County's on the hook for the first $100,000. Then after that, the insurance picks up. So when we have those big, large buckets of red bar, that's money that we don't pay at Henderson County, but obviously that's a negative effect on how our premium is charged in the next year because they've had a lot of losses in that market. So we haven't had much in reimbursement this year, but that's good because that means our health insurance renewal is positive. Stop loss is the premium that we do pay for that health insurance cost. You see that creep up over the last couple of years from the fact that we did have those losses and that market shrunk for us, and so we had less, or we had more premium to pay for stop loss. And then the small dark portion is the administration cost that you pay to Anthem to administer all of those claims. Any questions on that so far? Overall, very positive. I'll also mention that last year we implemented Hub International is the company that I work with, and we have a unique agreement with Anthem that provides a better prescription contract with Anthem's health plans, which gets you guys more back in relation to RX guarantees and rebates. Rebates happen on all RX contracts, and the amount that you can get back towards that really affects how much you'll end up spending on your pharmacy costs. In the first 2 quarters, that's netted back the county $130,000 plus, just based on that contract alone. That's not negating someone's coverages. That's not saying you can't get the prescriptions you need. That's just getting more money back from what they were spending back to the county. So that's a big win. We anticipate that to continue. So benchmarking, how does Henderson County stack up? I've showed this last year. This is still the 2024 Kaiser Family Foundation survey data. I don't have 2025 yet, but you're still stacking up in a great spot. So Henderson County's buy-up plan versus the national averages, your employee-only premium, you'll notice, is slightly higher than national average, but where you bring a ton of value to employees is the fact that your family employee monthly premium is significantly below average, and that is a great benefit to employees. Your deductibles are still in a good range, and the net cost exposure, that bottom couple of lines, I think is a huge benefit. What that means is if someone were to have that large-scale health claim and they meet that out-of-pocket maximum that they could pay, plus the amount of premium that they're going to spend in that given year, what's the exposure that family would have in healthcare costs? And you see that you guys stack up really well compared to those national averages. So really good positive benefit there. I'll also mention when we average the employee contribution, how much employees are paying from a premium perspective between the 2 plans that are offered for Henderson County, you guys are still below 2014 levels of employee premiums. Healthcare costs have continued to rise. Employee premiums have continued to rise. Even when we had that increased significant high-cost claims year in 2023, the county made the decision not to pass that on to employees. Commend you for that, because that means that they have just been able to keep their cost threshold much below what we're seeing in the outside marketplace. So significant benefit there. So Henderson County put in place an HRA-style plan in 2017. We've remained under benchmark, and that county has not increased employee costs since 2017. That is unheard of in this arena for sure. So 2026 renewal. Overall Anthem admin costs are about a 6.8% increase. Again, that's the smallest pieces of that pie, so it's not going to be, it's a $4,000 annual change from the administrative cost perspective. We did negotiate down to a 4.4% increase in stop-loss premium and a 5% decrease in the expectation of claims. Overall, that means that we have a negative towards our expected exposure. So when we take what expected costs from a fixed cost and a claims perspective come in, we expect you'll be at about 2.7 in renewal, and from a maximum exposure, what's the maximum we could pay in claims, you're about 3.3, which is below the current threshold. So all good news there. Any questions at all on that piece?
Well, we also budgeted in our current fiscal year, going into 2026-27 fiscal year, to once again cover the increases here and not pass them along to our employees. So
Correct.
We're very proud of that.
Yeah. So overall net cost exposure is less than expected for this current year, although we did have slight increases in fixed costs, largely driven by that national inflationary charge and the fact that we just assume that we're going to have some additional losses down the road, and stop-loss carriers do review that. We did market this to multiple stop-loss carriers to make sure that we did get the best available rate that's out there. We took it out to a dozen markets, and the incumbent carrier came back with the most competitive pricing. So we recommend staying with that incumbent carrier. Dental and vision are under rate hold, so no change to those rates for employees or to for the fiscal court. For both the dental, HRI, vision, or dental and vision, we added that voluntary vision last year for folks. If they weren't on the health plan, they could take a vision option with HRI. That is a rate hold. And then vision with Anthem is a rate hold as well. One America is under rate guarantee for our group and voluntary life, so no changes to those contracts this year. HRA will continue with McGregor, no changes to that. But here is one change we are making a recommendation for 2026. We know that healthcare costs a lot. We also know it's confusing to access and limited to access for a lot of individuals. So we reached out and talked with Deaconess Clinic. You all know the location probably that's over on Starlight Drive, I believe is where it's at. And they offered us competitive pricing that will allow employees and their dependents to visit their clinic at no cost to them for things like regular preventive checkups and visits, or even acute sick care. So things that you could think you go to an urgent care for, you could then go to the Deaconess Clinic, and that would be no cost to the employees that are on the health plan. They do have a 24/7 nurse line, and they do have a formulary of pharmacy prescriptions that employees can get at no cost as well. Those are going to be more of those things like antibiotics, or even ongoing chronic basic generic medications like things for high cholesterol or blood pressure or diabetes. Not the high cost specialty meds are going to be included in this, but some of the low cost generics, but just more of convenience for the members as well. Even lab services, they will do like lipid panels, blood draws, things like that there at their location also. So that cost is $42.11 per employee per month. That annually factors out to about $70,000 for the plan. We see this as a great benefit both for retention of employees and increasing the benefit that are available to employees and their dependents, but also we see it as a cost, and potentially a cost neutral, because you think about the claims that would be going into your health insurance plan that you would be spending anyway. You're just basically spending a fixed cost for that and encouraging members to go and get those preventive care services, and then those claims don't come back and cost the plan. So we see this as a huge benefit, and I have marketed these different clinics around the state, and that is a very, very competitive fixed cost number, much lower than what I see in other areas. I will also mention you do have the location here in Henderson, but they have multiple locations, and if someone is in Evansville or Owensboro, they could go to those locations as well and be covered under their services. So what questions do you have?
Well, I really think this is a good idea. I think it's cost effective. My one question is, at $70,000 for an annual estimated cost, is this something that requires us to bid out? It is a professional service. Owensboro Health also has a clinic here. Does this need to be bid out? Have you had that requirement in other counties?
I haven't, but I don't know what the regulations are for you guys, honestly. So it'd be in your court there. I mean, I know that. I mean, if it's a requirement to bid out, we can get bids from other clinic services and get that. I can say from experience, there's one that I know of specifically that has a standard fee of $65 per employee per month, and they're in multiple areas of the state, and they require a decent amount of population to be in there before they will build a clinic, but that's about as low as I've seen. So at $42.11, this is a very, very competitive rate.
I do think we need to research that a bit.
Okay.
If we are able to come back on November 25th and make a decision, is that okay? I just want to double check. And maybe one thing you can do for me, DJ, is to see if Owensboro Health even offers such a plan.
Sure.
If they don't, I think that would be Deaconess would be then the only provider here, which might simplify things. But
there's other.
I think there's Ascension.
Do they have a acute care facility here?
Yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with Ascension Health?
I'm familiar with them, not their clinic.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's over by Best One.
Okay.
So it would be here in Henderson. We would
Yes.
have more, okay.
Yeah. So they're obviously a healthcare system as well
Yeah.
in Evansville. I do think we need to make sure we aren't running afoul of anything, making sure we get it out if we have to.
Yep.
The overall idea, though, I think appeals to me a lot. It's very simple, I think, for employees to just know that they can go there and they won't have to pay out of pocket.
Yep.
Get a long, fairly lengthy list of services. You see what is provided under this plan on that page, including some basic prescriptions and testing, which is also handy, too.
Well, you think about just from an urgent care perspective and sick visits and things like that,
Yeah.
those claims are then coming into the plan, and they're going to be more than $42 in costs to the plan. So
Right.
if we have folks utilizing that, we're gonna save money on that front. The clinic I did mention, it was at $65. Those would be one where they would have to build out a facility, so it wouldn't be something here locally. You'd have to kind of have a collaboration with other entities in order to have enough critical mass. But if you have ones local that do offer that service, I think it is good.
They were here, I think they still are. I'm not 100% sure, but I know at one time my daughter worked for them, so
Yeah.
I know they were here then.
Yeah, let's do a little research and see.
I think the key question is, do they offer this model?
Right.
If they do, then I think we'll have to bid it out, most likely.
Yep,
And-
makes sense.
And then another question I have, because we already have our wellness with Deaconess.
Mhm.
So how would that affect it too? Because I would say we want to stay with the wellness with Deaconess.
Yeah, I mean, there's benefit if you're using the clinic that also your wellness program is through, so they can help push people to go to a single location for their blood panels and things like that. I mean, there's obviously benefit to the employees, but from hey, is there another location that we just need to make sure that we're being competitive in pricing? I feel confident we would be, but I just don't know the pricing on those other entities. Okay.
I believe the resolution we have in front of us for renewal does not include the clinic arrangement. That is separate.
It does.
It does.
Okay.
It does. You can pen and ink that out of there pretty
Yeah,
easily.
I think, I know, I'd love to move forward with it, but I'm suspecting we'll have to bid it out, so if we
Fair
can
enough.
read the resolution minus the reference to the clinic situation.
Right here.
We can revisit it,
Yes, yeah.
the clinic contract.
Okay.
Reading.
You ready? Yep. All right.
Okay, we'll read the resolution.
A resolution authorizing county judge executive to execute insurance contracts related to employee health, vision, life, and dental benefits. Whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court provides various health insurance benefits to its employees through a self-funded insurance plan. Whereas Hub International Mid-South is the current health insurance broker that provides health insurance benefits advisory services to the county, including review of all insurance contracts and forms, making recommendations, coordinating enrollments, preparing annual requests for proposals upon request, and providing other health insurance consultation services. And whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court, in consultation with Hub International Mid-South, deems it in the best interest of Henderson County to renew its administrative services only, or ASO, relationship with Anthem Insurance Companies, Inc. for the administration of the Henderson County Employee Health Plan and Core Plan Vision benefits. And whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court, in consultation with Hub International Mid-South, deems it in the best interest of Henderson County to enter into a renewal agreement with Health Resources, Inc. to be the provider for employee dental insurance. And whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court, in consultation with Hub International Mid-South, deems it in the best interest of Henderson County to renew its agreement with McGregor Employee Benefits Administrators and Consultants to be the provider for the Health Reimbursement Arrangement, or HRA plan. And whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court, in consultation with Hub International Mid-South, deems it in the best interest of Henderson County to accept the renewal proposal from Sun Life Assurance Company of Canada to be provider for stop-loss insurance. Now therefore be it resolved by the Henderson Fiscal Court, County of Henderson, Kentucky, as follows. Number one, the Henderson County Fiscal Court hereby adopts the recommendation of Hub International Mid-South to accept the proposals of Anthem Insurance Companies, ASO and Vision, Health Resources, Inc., Dental Insurance, McGregor Employee Benefits Administrators and Consultants, HRA Administration, the Deaconess Wellness Services, but not the
Well, that
proposal?
agreement was wellness services and programs.
Okay.
So we would mark out the deaconess
Okay.
from that.
Okay. Sun Life Assurance Company of Canada, stop-loss coverage under the terms which were presented in fiscal court at its meeting on the date of this resolution and which are attached hereto, incorporated herein. And two, the Henderson County Fiscal Court hereby authorizes and directs County Judge Executive Brad Schneider to execute any and all necessary contracts, applications, or agreements necessary to obtain the services and coverage anticipated by this resolution, subject to legal review.
Get a motion to approve?
So move.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion?
So this, what we're voting on now is the insurance we have at the time. We're going to follow up with the clinic thing if there's not one, if, we may not even have to bid it out, correct? We don't know.
Perhaps.
We don't know.
If we don't, then we'll bring that back to the next court.
Yes, try to, yeah.
Because I really would like to do that.
Yeah, me too.
So, all right.
I'm sorry, who made the first motion? Who
I made the motion.
You made the motion, who
Keith
seconded?
Berry.
Keith.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We have a resolution to declare some property surplus, a bunch of picnic tables that we have replaced, and that is it. And thank you, DJ, appreciate it. Get a motion to approve those as surplus so we can get rid of them.
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
We have to read
Go ahead and read the resolution there, I'm sorry.
the whole thing or just the,
Just summary.
okay. A resolution declaring certain county property to be surplus and providing for the disposition thereof.
Let me get another motion and a second there.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. I'm going to ask Whitney Risley from Henderson Economic Development to come forward. We have good news. Finishing off our incentive for Taubensee Steel's expansion, 15 jobs and something like $18 million in investment.
12.8 million.
12.8.
Yes.
If you want to expand on this at all?
Sure, yeah. Always great news when we can come tell you about continued movement forward on our existing industries. So Taubensee announced their project April of this year. I've been working with them. They are moving forward construction on their expanded 42,000 square foot at their current facility. New equipment and machines should be delivered soon. The project was announced at 15 new jobs. They have already hired 7. They still have currently 8 positions that they're looking to fill, and a lot of that is timing due to equipment to get them trained on the new pieces of equipment to carry out the new product line. So all exciting. Taubensee always expresses like how excited they are for this to happen. They love to be in Henderson. It's very productive here at the facility at the end of Ohio Drive. So I just wanted to pass on their excitement for this project.
Do you have any clue how many Taubensee employees total?
The baseline was 63 employees, and then so the 15, and as long as that captures, it would be around the 80 mark.
And they're a multi-state company. They have locations in other places.
Yes.
So, even though 15 jobs may not sound like a lot, 12.8 million, not bad. One of the things I love about these expansions here is that it's a compliment to our community. They enjoy doing business here. They like our people. They make money here. And they're going to, it solidifies the fact they'll be here for a long time, hopefully.
Yes.
Everybody always loves the announcement of new things, but when our local companies expand, to me, it's just as good. And even maybe in some ways, somebody who's lived with us a while and continues to want to do business here and grow here, I think that's an even bigger compliment. So.
Yes. Corporate was involved as well and had great sentiments for the Henderson facility. And we always hear great things on the workforce side of Taubensee.
That's good.
So yeah, all around great.
Excellent. Any other questions of Whitney on this? If you don't mind, just have the clerk read the summary here.
Summary's
Encapsulates
good.
everything. Yeah.
Resolution permitting rebate or retention by Top&C Steel and Wire Company of the 1% occupational license fee on certain wages paid to new employees in Henderson County, Kentucky, on the condition that Top&C Steel and Wire Company meets the criteria of its application for incentives under the Kentucky Business Investment Act.
Get a motion?
Motion to approve.
You have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Whitney. I appreciate your work on that. This time we'll have second reading of our text amendment to ordinance. This is Article 33, Wind Energy Conversion Systems. And if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and read the
I don't mind.
read the ordinance, the text amendment. And this is ordinance to amend Henderson County zoning ordinance found in the Henderson County Code of Ordinances, Appendix A thereof, which would create Article 33, Wind Energy Conversion Systems, or WECS, instituting a temporary moratorium on all WECS applications as recommended by the Henderson City County Planning Commission, HCCPC, after public hearing conducted in compliance with KRS 100.211. Whereas Chapter 100 of the Kentucky Revised Statutes provides for the adoption of zoning text and maps, as well as providing for amendments, and whereas the County of Henderson and the Henderson City County Planning Commission, HCCPC, have recognized the need for zoning regulations that promote the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community and facilitate orderly and harmonious development and the visual character of the community by enacting and amending Henderson County Code of Ordinances Appendix A, zoning, which is incorporated into said code, and whereas the Henderson Fiscal Court previously generated proposed text for wind energy conversion systems, WECS, pursuant to KRS 100.211 and other applicable law, and forwarded said text to the Henderson City County Planning Commission for hearing, and whereas the Henderson City County Planning Commission conducted a public hearing thereon on September 2, 2025, and HCCPC provided its findings and facts and recommendation to the Henderson Fiscal Court thereafter, and whereas the Henderson Fiscal Court voted at its regular meeting on October 4th, 2025 to accept the recommendation of HCCPC and to incorporate said recommendations into its Code of Ordinances pursuant to the language provided therein, and whereas in conformity with the HCCPC recommendation, the Henderson County Fiscal Court deems in the best interest of the residents of Henderson County for both the Fiscal Court and the Henderson City County Planning Commission to further analyze and study the potential negative effects of WECS installations, specifically including study of empirical data observed from existing such installations to determine whether to allow WECS installations in Henderson County, and if allowed, to draft and implement an ordinance setting forth the specific conditions, restrictions, and other terms necessary for future WECS installations to protect the citizens of Henderson County. And whereas the Henderson Fiscal Court accepts the recommendation of HCCPC and deems it in the best interest of the residents of Henderson County to institute the recommended 2-year moratorium on the filing, processing, review, and acceptance of all applications for all WECS installations, including small-scale WECS, industrial-scale WECS, WECS projects, and WECS towers as defined herein by the HCCPC and the Henderson County Board of Zoning Adjustment, in order to ensure the public health, safety, and general welfare, and to provide sufficient time for the analysis and careful consideration of the impact of WECS installations, and to provide sufficient time for such considerations to be incorporated into the revisions to the Henderson City County Comprehensive Plan. Now, therefore, be it ordained and enacted by the Fiscal Court of Henderson County of the Commonwealth of Kentucky as follows. 1. Appendix A, zoning of the Code of Ordinances of Henderson County, Kentucky is amended to create a new article, Article 33, entitled Wind Energy Conversion Systems, WECS, which I'll read as follows. This is 33.01 definitions. 1. WECS, all necessary devices that together convert wind energy into electricity and deliver that electricity to a utility's transmission lines, including but not limited to the rotor, nacelle, generator, WECS tower, electrical components, WECS foundation, transformer, and electrical cabling from the WECS tower, substation, operational meteorological towers, communications facilities, and required facilities and equipment as related to the WECS project. Number 2, industrial scale WECS, a wind energy conversion system capable of generating more than a cumulative maximum power of 5 kilowatts constructed on the property of another by a company or corporation or other entity whose general intent is to capture wind energy and place it on the electrical grid for resale to a public utility or energy marketer. 3, small-scale WECs, a wind energy conversion system designed to provide power to a home or other local site for use by the owner whose total height does not exceed 50 feet, with a generating capacity not to exceed a cumulative maximum power of 5 kilowatts, and shall not entail net metering capability. 4, WEX project, a collection of multiple WECs as specified in the application for development plan approval and/or improvement location permit. 5, WEX tower, the support structure to which the nacelle with turbine and rotor are attached, but may be used in the context of the tower, nacelle, turbine, and rotor collectively. 33.02 moratorium. The remainder of this zoning ordinance shall, in all other ordinances notwithstanding, there is hereby imposed a moratorium on the filing, processing, review, and acceptance by the Henderson Fiscal Court, the Henderson City County Planning Commission, the Henderson County Board of Zoning Adjustment, the Henderson County Codes Administrator, or any other department, subdivision, agency, board, or commission of Henderson County government of any and all applications for rezoning, conditional use permits, building permits, or other types of applications for both small-scale WECs and industrial-scale WECs and all other WECs projects, WECs towers, and WECs installations. This moratorium shall remain in effect until 2 years after this ordinance amending the Henderson County zoning ordinance, creating a new chapter entitled Article 33, Wind Energy Conversion Systems, is adopted by the Fiscal Court, or until such time as Fiscal Court amends this article by adopting comprehensive WECs regulations, whichever comes first, unless such moratorium is repealed or extended. All or parts of ordinances in conflict therein are repealed to the extent of such conflict. The provisions of this ordinance are severable, and if any provisions or parts thereof shall be held invalid or unconstitutional or inapplicable to any person or circumstance such as invalidity, unconstitutionality, or inapplicability, shall not affect or impair the remaining provisions of this ordinance. This ordinance shall become effective upon its passage and advertisement according to law. Do we have a motion?
Before we do that.
Let's get a motion in a second, then we'll have discussion.
All right.
So do we have a motion to accept?
I made the motion.
No second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion.
Yep. So originally I made the recommendation or proposal to have a 1-year moratorium to let them do that. They're, fact finding, and the more I've thought about it since that time, it says, the language that I have problem with is the 2-year moratorium or until such time. So, it could be 6 months. I don't like that language. Is there a reason that language has to be in there instead of if they think it needs to be 2 years, why not just say it's going to be 2 years, and after the 2-year time we do that, at that time we will make our ordinance, because I didn't when I proposed that, I didn't say a year or, I said at least a year. So I don't know if Steve could help me out with that, or is there a reason we can't just flat have it as 2 years? Because again, the more I've thought about it, I'm not comfortable with just saying or. I think it needs to be looked at very seriously.
So, something you just said a second ago was that if they, I assume by they, you mean
the Planning Commission, I'm sorry,
thinks they
yes.
need 2 years. The language that the Planning Commission sent to us said exactly what is in this, 2 years or until such time as something is due, versus something, a full, the process complete and a full regulation is in place. So if they thought that it was going to take 2 years or more, then they had the ability to amend that. So I'm not sure your statement of they think they need the full 2 years. That's something that's not in their recommendation. So the fiscal court adopted their regulation word for word. It can be sent back to them for that. One of the issues when it comes to planning and zoning, when you're talking about interim regulations, which this isn't necessarily an interim regulation, it is a full regulation, but the nature of it is, of a moratorium, is temporary. right?
Understood, yes, sir.
So you generally can't take more time than is actually needed.
So
So
if-
the question is, and now also remember that this ordinance, the language that came back to us from the Planning Commission did say until such time as I have to bring it up, unless such moratorium is repealed or extended. I would assume if you got a year and several months into this and the Planning Commission said we need more time, they would come back and make a recommendation for that moratorium to be extended. But we open the door to a lawsuit, which we'll admit there's probably going to be a lawsuit from these developers at some point, for one reason or another, no matter what. But the case law on this tends to look at whether or not the fiscal court is being arbitrary, or sometimes they use the phrase arbitrary and capricious, just pulling dates out of the sky. If it had said 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, without some sort of timeline about, this is how long it's actually going to take. So my assumption is that when you're talking about moratoriums that are by definition temporary, that it helps avoid that issue if for some reason something happens very quickly. I don't know what the process is going to be from the Planning Commission, but the number of hearings they're probably going to need is probably going to take quite a while, is my guess, but I don't know. The fiscal court has the option. They can reject the findings of the Planning Commission, send it back to them, or originate new text. That is certainly within the fiscal court's purview to do that. This is your ordinance, and I'm sure the Planning Commission would be very quick to point that out. However, it may very well, by doing it that way, invite some sort of litigation, potentially handing litigation to them on a silver platter.
So you don't think that's a defensible position then?
I think it is much harder to defend, but I will also say I'm not a land use planning professional. I'm more of a general practitioner, and my expertise is generally in county government stuff. But the Planning Commission does have its own attorney who reviewed this, and they did leave that language in there. I'm assuming that the reason is to avoid a potential lawsuit over arbitrariness and capriciousness.
And the way I understand it, the way it's written now, it could be amended to even be longer than 2 years if they need it, if needed.
Yes, the whole idea is that the Planning Commission have the time they need to go through a full process to do a full regulation.
And if excuse me.
I was just going to say, but where they open themselves and where they open the court up to potential lawsuit from the developers is when they take significantly longer than they actually need.
Correct.
So who
And that's
determines that
the
amount of
issue.
time?
Well, I believe it would be the Planning Commission they would need to go through their process.
Well, I'm sorry, I should have said it this way. Who determines whether it's an arbitrary amount of time, saying we're just dragging our feet for the sake of dragging our feet? I guess that's where my question is.
That would be a court.
Okay.
That would be a court.
Still don't like it. I get it, understand.
Any other questions?
So if it was a dead 2 years, if it was that way, at that point, whether they're finished or not, they would have to have it done at the end of that 2 year.
Unless extended.
Okay.
Unless extended.
Yeah, I'm not asking to remove that other part. It's just
The problem with that is that essentially opens you up to a lawsuit today if the developers or affected individuals could show that the process should take less than that. Of course, in their opinion, they'll think it should take, a lot less time. Of course, the findings made by the Planning Commission were that they believe they were going to need up to 2 years to do that. But I'm not an expert in their timelines. You'd have to talk to them about what their actual timelines are.
Understood.
Any other questions? Discussion? We'll need a roll call vote on the motion.
Magistrate Starks,
Aye.
Magistrate Barry,
Aye.
Magistrate Southard,
Aye.
Magistrate Tompkins,
No.
Magistrate Putman.
Aye. And I'll vote aye for the record. Thank you. From the County Attorney's Office, we have a personnel action.
Yes, we have a county-funded position for an administrative assistant position that is primarily responsible for delinquent tax administration and bad check collection, among other things. After advertising and interviews, we have tentatively hired, subject to the approval of fiscal court, Gail Johnson with a proposed salary or proposed hourly rate of $19 per hour.
Motion to approve that hire?
So moved.
Second. At that rate? We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We also have a personnel action from Nick Stallings, County Engineer.
All right, we had two employees. One was a recycle employee, and one was is a parks employee. They've maxed out where they're at. They show ambitions of wanting to work farther. They've been good employees. They got a good tenure with us. Good track record. We obviously the next point is truck driver, operators, that kind of thing. But the biggest caveat is CDLs. They did make the mention that they would get their CDLs. They would like to. So we're looking to maybe enter in a contract with them, something to, if they get their CDL, and it's something that the county pays for, which the county does with the sheriff's department, with everybody, continue education, obviously, get better in the position, they get more training. That's nothing out of the ordinary. We just would like to kind of protect the county, or just say if they get their CDLs, they would have to work for the county for a certain amount of time, so that they don't get the CDLs, and as soon as they receive that, they leave and go to another company that obviously they can pay better than the county, because CDL is something that people are looking for, wanting to have to hire somebody. So I just don't want the county to be at the expense, the training that would take to get that. They get the CDLs, and then they find their way to another position. So this is not really out of the ordinary. I would just like to be able to get the court's approval for that to be initiated.
There's a sample contract, I think, in your packet, and certainly something we need to do if we're going to offer this training.
There are actually two, Nick, you had two particular employees
Yes.
in mind. And just to put a finer point on it, the deal with this, it's not that they have to continue working for the county. It's if they choose not to work, they still have freedom of choice. They choose not to continue working with the county, they have to repay the county a certain amount of those training.
Yes, and what that contract shows is what we were out as far as the purchase to get the permit, to take the training, to do the walk around, to do the driving, and then from that is to take the actual CDL test, the background check. All that was summed up in a dollar amount, and that would be what they would be looking at if they do leave and go to another business, and leave on their own accord to go work somewhere else. That would be something that's why this contract here is something that the county would be looking for them to reimburse.
Yep. I think it's a good thing.
Motion to
So moved.
Second.
motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I have two appointments to recommend to the Extension Board. Julie Troxel and Amy Cates. Julie Troxel would be replacing Heather Phelps, who's rolling off, and Amy Cates would be a reappointment. They're both good people and recommended to me, so recommending Julie Troxel and Amy Cates to serve on the Henderson County Extension Board. You get a motion approving that?
Second.
You have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Next, we have some rough news about the Judicial Center roof. I'm going to ask Deputy Judge Kurt Wiesen to come up and explain this a little bit. We're going to have to spend some money across the street.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right, we have we've had a bunch of different leaks over there, especially on the lower roof. It's been looked at several times. The main roof we've got some major leaks in there, and we've got some roof vents that are dropped down. Roof has never been replaced over there. It's 25 years old now, so it's lived its life. And so I'm asking today to go out for bids on a new roof for the Judicial Center. We've contacted AOC. AOC has told us that they'll look at the project and then consider it for funding. Now keep in mind that AOC releases the building over to us for full custody of it in April this year. So timing is everything on this. So
April this fiscal year.
April of this fiscal year, yes. April 2026. That building is all ours, so.
We need to, right.
So if we have any hope of them reimbursing us, we need to do this sooner than later. And we're talking about several $100,000 most.
Probably about 400,000, just a rough guess.
Right.
I would move to
Go out for
do
bids.
that, to go out for the bids.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. I assume everybody else feels the same way. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Good luck. Wish us the best there. And Nick Stallings, you have a bid recommendation on the tandem axle truck?
All right. Last week, our last court, I opened the bids for trucks. We had we had an outlier that was way lower than everything else. By doing some research, that one was thrown out. There was also one of the bids that said they're not responsible for any increase for the rising components, prices, and that kind of thing. And so the specifications could be changed if need to be by the time this truck came in. That was not really kosher for us. So there were two different trucks, a Volvo and a Mack. They both performed the same as far as on the bids. They were both within the same amount of money, within a couple $100 of each, or $1,000. And so we've got a few Macks, actually about 3 or 4 Mack trucks. So getting another Mack would also kind of help with the diagnostic tools we have. We don't have to buy an extra package for those. The filters, the maintenance, the servicing, we got a lot of that. We can buy in bulk rather than buying individual ones. I just think that would be a better pick. And then we were going to go with Ettinger, because they did two different outfitters, Ettinger and Meyer. We wanted to choose to go with Ettinger's because Meyer's is using a Force America salt spreading. They use that's the outfit they use. It's a touchscreen. It has more problems that could possibly go wrong than just a Dickie John, which is you set the rate and you go. So those are more analog versus a digital, and I think maybe a digital screen in a truck at 4:30 in the afternoon when it's starting to get dark and roads icy and things. I would rather those guys not have to see what their spread rates are, that they can go ahead and flip it on, and it's a switch on, switch off. They're tried and true. They've had them for a long time. Almost every DOT uses them. So I think if we can take away all the possibilities of something they got to fiddle with while they're driving, would be the best. So it also comes at a better price than the Force America.
So you want to make a very specific recommendation there?
Yep, it would be a Volvo truck, a Mack truck, and it would be using the outfit with Ettinger. The price was $262,375.
And a budgeted expense.
Oh, it's a budget expense, yes.
I'll make the motion to accept the recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions of Nick?
Judge, if I may, Nick, you are recommending a rejection of the lowest bid, right?
Yes.
Can you
yeah.
talk a little bit more, kind of flesh out why, from an engineering standpoint, from a cost standpoint, you believe that to be in the best interest of the county?
Because the two lower bids, one using an L9 engine that's not been in production since 2023. The replacement engine will not be in production until 2026. It's had several critical recalls, safety issues between the time of 2023 and 2025. Not good for a truck. Secondly, the other one said that any price increase as a result of force, rising costs of components, or government tariffs are not included in this quoted price and shall be the financial responsibility of the customer. So prices and specifications are subject to change without notice. Kind of bad news, right? So not to say whatever kind of financial situation we are now with the way the trucks are being built, if next July we take possession of this truck and all of a sudden now they say, hey, it's $340,000, that'd be bad news. So those are the two reasons why we did, and only one was a crazy outlier, but having a lot of recalls, having engines that have been sitting on the shelf that they said, hey, these are work. Now replacement, how does parts look? How does mechanical issues look if you've got something that has not been in production for that long, and their planned reproduction motor is not until 2026. So I just think maybe the parts stream would be an issue.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure we made a good record.
Yeah, no, we got all the records down. We just didn't pick it because of the name and the color. I mean, it was just there were reasons because of that. We had and plus when you got mechanics that used to work on one machine, you can buy everything in bulk. It's a better.
Yeah.
They're down the road. Same people that drive the trucks are used to a certain amount of trucks. And Ford, Chevy thing, it's more than that. It's more than that.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Good job. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Next is Lori Miller from Animal Control and the Humane Society. Welcome, Lori.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Good morning.
So we hired a new animal control officer. I don't know if we had the chance to report since in the beginning of September we had hired someone. He resigned after a few days of starting. But we have since hired ACO Richard Bales. He is from Hopkins County Humane Society, which closed permanently after the tornadoes. And he is doing an amazing job. He's been with us for about a month now, and he brings a wealth of knowledge, already euthanasia certified, and like I said, a fantastic addition to our team. We also have ongoing shelter repairs. They finished painting 2 of the runs, and then they're taking a break from painting because we need the kennel space. They'll focus on some other repairs that we need done. I'll report on that next month. Calls for service with animal control. We had 48 calls in September, so 21 of those were animals running at large, half of which were reclaimed. The other half are now up for adoption at the Humane Society. We had 5 calls regarding aggressive animals, 3 bite cases, and 1 cruelty case. We had a total number of 54 animals enter our facility last month, 38 dogs, 16 cats. We currently have 49 dogs in the facility, so it is staying pretty steady, almost over capacity regularly. We did have 15 adoptions, like I said, 11 dogs reclaimed. We did have some transports this month that I can report. Next month, dogs going to other rescues, which definitely helps us breathe a little bit. And we euthanized 0 last month. We performed 24 spay-neuter surgeries, 14 which were dogs, 10 cats. 24 rabies vaccines were administered, and 18 microchips implanted. As far as animal control goes, that's about all I have to report, unless you guys have any questions.
No, ma'am. Thank you for the details.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
Thank you very much, Lord. Appreciate it. And from County Clerk Renese Abner, your report.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Today, I have the payments for September 2025. The excess fees for the month are $145,190.53, with a total submitted of $188,694.88, and that's $58,000 more than September of 2024. I also am reporting the quarterly total submitted to the county of $676,473.63, and this is $193,000 more than the same quarter of last year.
100,000 plus. Any particular reason you know of?
We're just doing full speed ahead, vehicles, recordings, so
Good job.
working hard.
Move to accept.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions of Renese? All in favor say aye.
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 Any
Thank you,
opposed?
Renisa.
Thanks.
Thank
Can
you.
I just remind you too about the filing
Sure.
for the May primary 2026? Filing can start November the 5th. And just make sure whenever you're filing your paperwork that you don't have your signatures on your paperwork before that day. So that's the first day you can get signatures and file. And then the deadline is January 9th at 4 p.m.
Renisa, you can do
Yes.
it online or pick up the filing
Yes,
papers
we have
in your
packets
office, correct?
available in the office, or you can go to sos.ky.gov and go to elections, and then there's a drop-down becoming a candidate, and all of the paperwork is there, except for one, that we have a local code of ethics form that's not listed there that you can pick up in the office.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gold, your report.
Because I've got several checks today, reimbursement for health insurance costs, $16,892.77. Dental life and vision check, $728.20 and $11.10. Aflac, $364.74. Jail fees, $93.62. 3 interest checks, $30.39, $88.22, and $198.54. And a reimbursement from the state, $3,924.60, bringing today's total to $22,332.18, and the fiscal year total to date to $93,502.13. Naya said she's never held over $22,000, so Ms. Naya, I'm going to ask you to take that and hand it to the judge, please.
Thank you.
And I always say it's just like being an adult. You get a little money, end up having to hand it to the government.
Motion to accept.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Treasurer Ryder.
Wait,
Listen, I'm not treasurer writer, sorry to disappoint. But a while ago, I did not say the vendor we were getting the Mac from, but it's from Vomac over in Evansville. They were the two, they bidded both the Volvo and the Mac. So my esteemed colleague said, hey, you need to say that, so I said that.
On the record.
Probably worth clarifying that through another vote accepting that as well.
okay.
I'll make a motion accepting the recommendation with the addition of the information of who we're getting it from.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Now, Treasurer Ryder.
Yeah. Still not sure I said that right.
There are no fund transfers. You have received the bank balances after paying claims today. Your day-to-day appropriations should be at approximately 33%. I do have additional claims from the general fund to government forms and supplies, $3,323.36. This is for real estate and mortgage books and filler sheets, and is to come from the clerk's office supplies and postage appropriation lines. To Harp Enterprises in the amount of $4,487.30. This is for clerk voting machine maintenance and is to come from the elections material and supplies appropriation line. To Text My Gov Incorporated, $9,000. This is for an election messaging software and is to come from the elections material and supplies appropriation line. From the jail fund to U.S. Bank, which is the credit card, $8,219.08. The majority of this is to come from the equipment repairs and maintenance, staff training, travel and conferences, and prisoners' transports appropriation lines.
Motion to pay the claims?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda.
I don't have any old business. If anybody would like to say anything for good of the county, please feel free to come to the mic. And please introduce yourself.
My name's Kelly England. I live in Roberts. I'm going to probably read what I want to say. I'm a little bit nervous. Respectfully, I'd like to ask who of the elected members of Fiscal Court have not been to the Roberts area in the last 3 months?
Who hasn't been?
Has not been in the last 3 months?
I probably haven't been out there.
6 months? It's unconscionable to me that you could vote on these large-scale industrial projects, which is now on phase 2 of the solar project out there, and not go out there and see the scope and scale of what we're dealing with out there.
Excuse me. The question was, have we not been out there?
Have you not been there? Have you been there or not?
I have been there.
I know.
Okay.
I'm asking who has not been there.
Okay, just making sure.
These projects are affecting everyone in this county, every citizen, whether or not these projects are going on in your district or not. They're affecting maybe a friend or a family member of people in your district or a small town. And it's not just necessarily the aesthetic or even the health and safety aspects of the people that are living directly in them. It's also, loss of property rights, loss of property value, loss of friendships. It's tearing friendships and families completely apart. And I know this firsthand. It's loss of agricultural revenue also. It's loss of quality of life. If you have not visited Roberts, I would respectfully ask that you recuse yourself from future votes on these projects until you've been there. Do you know that citizens and fiscal court members of other counties have been to Roberts to see what's going on out there? It's kind of sad that we have members here that have not been there. And we have magistrates from other counties that have been there. And also members of the Green River Area Development District have also been there. So I would invite you to talk to David Sellers, the mayor of Roberts. He'd be happy to take you on a tour of Roberts, which he has escorted these other folks from the other counties. So he has graciously offered to take anybody out there that would like to see it, and I'm sure Taylor and Tim would probably be happy to do that as well. It's very important. If you have been there and you have voted on these projects, does it look the way you envisioned when you look at it? Now that we're in phase 2, are you happy with it?
I can say no. Yeah, I was.
Why? In what aspect does it not look the way that you expected when you voted to install these projects?
What I would have anticipated was a different, because I travel Iowa quite a bit. I got family up there, and I see, and the setbacks and stuff are bigger, larger, and but I was. I'll be honest with you, I was shocked by it. Just being perfectly honest.
So when you voted to allow these projects to come in, then you did not do your due diligence beforehand. Is that a fair question?
Yes and no. Seeing how we were kind of breaking ground, a new way of green energy, we thought we had a very good ordinance, in our opinion, based on what we knew. I mean, we didn't haphazardly just do this.
It feels that way.
Well, trust me.
It feels that way to my parents who, on their 150-year-old family property, are now surrounded on four sides by glass and metal and chain link and razor wire, 300 feet off of their property line. So it's very personal and it's very emotional. So I ask you, I beg you to please consider carefully these decisions. Please do the due diligence that you're talking about during the moratorium on solar, with the setbacks, with the glare, with the runoff, with the water and the flooding and the safety and health aspects of it. Please do those things. And I would like to know what is being done. Are we talking to experts? Are we forming some committees, subcommittees to look at these things? What's being done right now to study the things that you all said you were going to study during the moratorium?
We are contracting with a hydrologist, Frank Williams, who's worked in Henderson County in the past, to look at the runoff issue. We're doing both personal tours and taking any kind of comment from the public or our road department or our sheriff's department if they can spot any instances where glare is an issue for drivers. Anybody who notices a spot, huh?
I can tell you it is, personally.
Well, please give me the location where you know that to be true, and we will examine it. To me, glare spots are like potholes. It's easy to see them. It's easy for people to understand where they are because they encounter them. So any information like that, please refer it to my office, and we'll go inspect it. Every time I drive through, we look for it. Now that we have a different season of the year, the sun will be in a different place in the sky. It may impact where those glare spots may or may not occur. So any information you have in that regard, please forward it to us.
I would just ask that you all take a step back, consider the impact these projects have on all the citizens of Henderson County. Not just a short-term financial benefit to some, but everyone that lives in this county is going to be affected. And these are huge, huge projects. So please, I just ask you respectfully to take your time. Please, Mr. Starks, go visit Roberts before these things continue, before we go into the wind project. I would ask that you please do what citizens and members of fiscal courts in other counties have done and come and visit our own county and see what's really happening. Thank you.
If I could say in my own defense, I've lived here for over 38 years. I've visited Roberts quite a few times, and I just haven't been there lately. So I was just being transparent and honest.
Sorry.
Reintroduce yourself again there.
Melissa Clements. I was coming to recognize a group of people today. I spoke with Magistrate Tompkins this weekend. I'd like to recognize the Niagara Volunteer Fire Department, the Roberts Volunteer Fire Department, the Cairo Volunteer Fire Department, and the Basket Volunteer Fire Department, and Cardin Volunteer Fire Department. All of those volunteer fire departments were on scene of the horrible, tragic event that happened on 136 East on Saturday morning at 7 a.m. The home across the street from my home exploded due to a gas leak at this time, and those volunteer fire departments were amazing. And I think it's important for us to recognize their hard work, their dedication to their community, and not just to their areas. They all showed up, they were on scene, and they were effective. Also, I'd like to recognize Kenny Garrett and Jill Ward with EMA and their timely they were so timely in getting there and working with this family. There were 2 adults and a 6-year-old child that were severely, critically injured and life-flighted to Louisville. So I just wanted to take that opportunity to recognize them and their hard work. So thank you so much.
Hey,
Thank you,
Melissa.
I know your family helped as well.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I believe your family helped as well.
Yes,
being
but I
across
want
the
to,
street.
I want to take no credit for that, because I think as human beings, we would help when we know we need to help, and it's a service we all want to provide. We want to help our neighbors no matter what, and I feel like that's what we did.
It was still a dangerous situation, so you guys acted as you should have, but it still deserves to be noted, so we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Melissa, you may, I know you personally know one of them because she works at the Salvation Army.
Yes, Kim.
Yeah, Kim.
Kim worked at the Salvation Army. Harold worked at Audubon Metals.
Audubon Metals, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you so very much.
Yeah,
And I'll say this too, by working where I did for so many years, we saw some bad things. We couldn't make it without volunteer fire departments.
Agreed.
Just can't. Rex, it don't matter what it was, they were always there. And there's a lot of times that I was out there, and if it wasn't for them, I don't know what we'd have done.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Introduce yourself.
My name is Holly Vincent. I think I've spoke to all of you on the phone at some point in the last couple of months. I'm here to give a good and a positive for the turbine and the wind energy. As a landowner, I want to develop my agribusiness as I see fit for my property. I've bought it, I've paid for it, I pay taxes for it. Ms. England mentioned that it is emotional. We do have property that is also involved with the solar panels. Not everyone is going to be happy all the time. And then you guys are placed in a very unfortunate position to make laws, ordinances that will affect the whole county, not just a few. The positive that can come out of this is expended energy. We will expand our portfolio for what Kenergy can offer and UK can offer to those that are out in the county for our energy needs. Gas will be here for a long time. Oil is no longer king. EPA and emissions have been placed on all of those sources that make those almost financially impossible to continue with. By adding to the portfolio with solar, wind, hydroelectric, we can increase our electrical needs and energy provisions here in Henderson County that will allow and encourage manufacturing, industry, encourage our children to stay here, expand our schools, our college, our opportunities for continued living here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll reiterate that when the Planning Commission schedules its next round of hearings, those will be important. Those will be the fact-finding hearings for the eventual development of the draft ordinance. And I encourage all of you who have opinions about this to please take advantage of that and speak your mind at those public hearings. They'll be announced well in advance. And I just want you to know that speaking at those is perhaps more important than speaking here today, because that will be in front of the Planning Commission that will be developing the draft ordinance. So just wanted to say that. Please come to the mic.
Hello.
Please introduce yourself.
I'm Cindy Bickwormer, and I just had some questions on the Roberts Solar moratorium. So I know it's a 2-year moratorium, and we're several months in, close to a year in. Is that correct? In February maybe is a year?
Yes.
Okay. So some of the issues that were going to be addressed was the drainage, the vegetation fences hiding the panels, impacts on wildlife, and reflective glare. Can you give us an update on what's been done since the moratorium started?
Well, we are absolutely observing vegetative growth. I mean, I drive through there at least once a week, if I can, to monitor that. It's very early to judge how that's going to be, because they planted saplings, and it's going to take a couple years, or at least a year and a half, to kind of see how that's going to go. But and they've had several die, so they've been working with their contractors to replant. and it'll take a while. As I mentioned, we're contracting with Frank Williams, hydrologist, to look at the drainage. He had, unfortunately, last month, he had his wife have a very serious health issue that divided his attention. We have not been able to work out a contract with him yet, but we intend to as soon as he produces it for us and we can vote on it. I just mentioned that anybody who notices any glare on the roadways around Roberts related to solar panels to please report that. We've asked our sheriff's deputies and our road crews to also keep a lookout for that. So that's where we are.
Okay. And what about the impacts on wildlife?
That was not one of the things we mentioned in the moratorium.
Well, it might not be in the moratorium. It was mentioned in a news article before y'all approved the moratorium as something that y'all would be looking at. So
I don't remember that.
it's in the 14 News article dated November 19th, 2024, impacts on wildlife and reflective glare. So I was just curious if, I'm sure it's affecting the wildlife. These are two of the largest solar farms in Kentucky, correct?
Right, yeah, I don't remember us talking about that.
Yeah, I can forward this to you, the article, or I can give
I'm sure
this
that's
to you.
what that says, but I don't remember us talking about that. That's
Okay,
well, part of their application process with PSC includes Fish and Wildlife sign-off, so they do their own studies and submit to PSC.
so there's no studies going on to see how wildlife are doing with all these
Not by the
fences
county,
and-
no.
Okay. What about the new issues that have occurred? The 4,000 panels that were damaged by hail, the 32 that were shot with gunfire, and the solar inverter fire? I mean, those are new issues that have come about since the moratorium. Are there any concerns about any of those things?
Concerns like?
Like soil contamination, cleanup? I mean, do y'all get any kind of updates? Do y'all know what's going on out there?
We know that there were no issues expressed to us by state EPA, which investigates such things. The damage to solar panels is up to the company to fix.
Okay.
That we have not heard any, both from REMA, state EPA, any kind, and from volunteer firefighters who are on the scene of the inverter fire, for example.
Right.
Any indication of any danger of hazardous ground contamination or anything like that. That is not the nature of what those things are constructed from, as I understand it. So, no.
So after a fire like that, no one checks to see if there's any cleanup done, or that it's just done and over after a fire's put out?
It's an industrial environment, so state EPA governs that. And if there is reporting to be done, they investigate, and we are given, our EMA is given a record of whatever they came up with if it was detrimental.
Okay, so there's,
If it was
so
detrimental.
those 4,032 panels could all still be laying out there as far as we all know. I mean, no one knows, right? The ones that were
I have not,
damaged.
have you seen 400 panels laying anywhere?
No, I said 4,000.
4,000.
There was 4,000 that was damaged by hail that was reported.
Right.
Or I mean, I don't know.
The company wants to make money, this is my estimation of it. The company wants to make money with solar panels. They can't make as much money with damaged solar panels. It's obviously in their interest to replace them.
True.
And then they are required by both federal and state EPA to dispose of them at EPA-approved landfills,
Okay.
or recycle them in any way they see fit.
And that was, Judge, they told us that.
Yeah,
When they came and reported, when I asked them to come here,
came
they reported out on all that.
That they were all cleaned up?
They did all according to regulations, EPA and the whole 9 yards. That was all stated. Yes, ma'am.
All right, so that's all cleaned up? No contamination? Okay, so, well, that was my questions. And there's no studies on wildlife, no concern about displaced or wildlife or anything like that?
Not by the county, no.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Continuing.
Please introduce yourself again.
Deirdre McConaughey. continuing on that theme about Roberts, I want to, you're absolutely right, Magistrate Tompkins. I think his name was Jeremy Harms.
Correct.
From Geronimo came, and he did give a report about the 4,000 panels, and he did in fact say they were taken to Arizona.
Correct. Yes.
And what parts could be were recycled.
Correct.
But I think that the issue really is it's an opportunity during this moratorium for us to look at what happens with panels when they're taken out, especially at that number. That gives us a window to sort of see what decommissioning would look like. So for example, when a solar panel is damaged, it is deemed hazardous material. So I assume that we have in place the roadways by which those materials should travel and so forth. You know, so I think using that as an opportunity to look at the decommissioning process is a good use of the moratorium time. Another thing I wanted to say, and I've said it several times directly to you, Judge, is that in the moratorium, the language says these 4 things, but not, no, it says we need to study things, but not limited to. And over you refer to the 4 infrastructure problems, but I've said it and I say it again, we are not limited to it. So we've not studied property values. We've not studied wildlife. We have not, and what we're aiming for is to, if need be, improve our solar ordinance. So if in our solar ordinance we should include soil and water testing, then we should be doing some study right now after some damaged panels or fire. We should be doing soil testing and water testing, and if there's no problem, that's great. But maybe we need that in our ordinance. That's what we should be doing. Another example that I'm real frustrated by is this notion that we will send one another around the county to observe glare. This should be a scientific process with empirical methodologies. This is not, hey, I didn't see any glint today, because as we all know as farmers or country folk, the sun changes over the course of a year, right? So what you saw last week has nothing to do with what it'll look like in March. This is science. And did you know that there is actual software that many solar companies are required to use before they site a solar array? And it studies 2 things, both glare and glint. Turns out there are 2 different types of reflective properties. And when they do that, they do it seasonally across the year. They can work out the positions to minimize or to mitigate the reflective properties. So do we need to hire someone to run that software? Do we know anything about what the future solar panels that would be installed? Is that something that conceivably we could put in an ordinance, that they must run that? So for example, we ran into infrastructure problems and we have road damage specifically listed as one of the infrastructure problems. Perhaps in the ordinance we need to say that a road assessment specifically must be done that would be appropriate for the types, the numbers.
They were.
Oh, there were. That
They
was.
were.
That,
And they
is
were
it in
put-
the ordinance?
And they were put back to, yes, it was, and they were also put back to as good or better.
Okay, well then
I
that's
can personally
good.
attest to that.
Okay,
because
well,
I was
that's-
there.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So these are some suggestions, and I just want to say I'm frustrated by trying to remind you that we are not limited in our study. This is the window where we should be doing serious scientific study, and the tools are out there. And you know what? There are a lot of people that live all around the county that would be willing to help You know, you don't have to take it on and do it all. There are people that are doing research and can help you. So it's not, because we all have the same goal, which is to write a more protective, the best ordinance that we can. We all have that goal. That's what I would like.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Please introduce yourself.
Good morning. My name is Kendall Dean. I'm the executive director for the Father Bradley Shelter. In 2024, my predecessor, Anita, was given funds in the amount of $2,000 as a grant due to COVID displacement and lack of fundraising that we weren't able to have. A few weeks ago, Magistrate Starks let me know that reporting had not been done on that money. And I'm here today to transparently submit those receipts to each of you and introduce myself, because I don't believe I've met each of you, and ask you to consider including the local shelters in that additional funding for during the COVID, or not COVID, during the government shutdown. I noticed that we mentioned Salvation Army, Henderson Christian Community Outreach, and the Homeless Coalition. However, every single one of our residents in the shelter is going to be affected by the loss of their EBT. We currently are serving 16 residents, and we are working off a waiting list. Yesterday, I had numerous amounts of phone calls of women and women with children who needed services. So I wanted to simply just submit these documents and ask you to consider the Father Bradley Shelter and any of those types of thoughts.
I think that's a point well taken, and we'll work on that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who do I give
Nice
it
to meet you, too.
Yeah, glad to see you up here.
I think the best place to deliver those is to Treasurer Ryder, right in the back. She's kept a file of the COVID and ARPA spending. So
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
anybody else? Please introduce yourself.
I'm Sherry Alderson. My address is 15985 Highway 136. I live in Niagara. I'm not very articulate, but I'm very passionate, so bear with me. Maybe I can do this best by painting a visual picture. The lady that spoke, she's gone now. I agree that she has every right to develop her property any way that she wants to. However, when it impacts the neighbors and the neighborhood and everyone else around her, that to me is infringement. That infringes on my property value, on wildlife in my area. I love nature. The other thing is, let me paint it this way. I decide that I want to raise some chickens. And some of you know where I'm going with this or have an idea. So I gather up 50 chickens, and I've got them in my yard, and we're having a big time. And they're noisy, but they give me eggs. That's the way I've developed my property. Well, Tyson comes to me, or whoever else, and says, oh, you've got this nice property. Let's put some chicken houses here. We'll pay you really good for them. All you got to do is just keep them up. My closest neighbor is a mile away. I don't see any problem. So I go on, sign a contract with them. We put up 10, okay, that's probably too many. Let's say 3 to 5 chicken houses within a mile of my neighbor. Now, that becomes a problem for my neighbor. And if it doesn't, they're done. There is a way that people can develop their property and not infringe. When it goes overboard, when you allow a company to come in and put things on your property, it's not just contained on your property. It affects everyone around you. And that's what I guess aggravates me and frustrates me is people don't see the big picture. If you're driving around the county, you see these chicken houses everywhere. They have a life. They've lived their life. And there's nothing else they can do with them because the ground is contaminated. They can't tear them down, reuse it, build horse barns, anything. You can't do that. So yes, landowners do have the right, or should have the right, to do whatever they want with their property, but not when it infringes on their neighbors, and it's going to. I don't care if it's solar, if it's wind, if it's BESS, or whatever it is going on now. If you're a landowner, you need to consider everything and not just developing your land for what you say is best for you. And that's all I got. But I appreciate you gentlemen, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? With that, we'll go around the horn. Magistrate Southern?
First off, I want to say congratulations now. It's a big deal. So the whole K-Roll school, they picked you. That says a lot. It's something you can be proud of, and today's your day, so that means you get 2 birthdays a year now, right? And it just says a lot about you. That means you're doing what you should be doing, and that means when people aren't looking at you. So congratulations. And where are we going to go eat? Talkaholics.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. All right. But we'll talk later. And I do want to say something. Cindy, some of the questions you've asked, the solar panels are new to this county. And yes, there are things that we don't get reported to. But Brentag could have had a spill yesterday, and we don't know. 2 weeks ago, we had a fire in Smith Mills that was come from electricity. The wires, a combine backed over a telephone pole, knocked the wires down, caught the field on fire, and a transformer burned up. They don't report that to us. The solar panels are new, the windmills are new, and it's an industry that reports the same way that industry reports other things. And I 100% hear you. I probably 1,000% agree with you. But there's a lot of things that we're getting questions that we can't answer because we don't require that from other industries either. And I'd like for y'all to understand, I'm not against y'all in any way. The last thing I want to do is cause any pain or injury to my county, my district, or my people. And I feel like all y'all are my people. So I had to say that. So thank y'all. Well, I think Steve wants to come up here.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Steve Big Wormer. I live on Highway 1078, corner of 2249, 1078. I'm going to ask one question. Probably not going to get an answer, but how many people do you think have moved to Roberts so they can look at solar panels? That's all I want to know. And if you move them out here amongst all us, how's this community going to grow when you don't have people out here? Am I going to move to Henderson County so I can feed my family? I understand that. But if I got a choice, I'm going to move somewhere else where I can I can look at my yard instead of a 720-foot windmill or be surrounded by solar panels. I'm not coming here. There you have it.
I understand what you're saying. Again, like Butch said, I didn't see this.
I agree.
And
I don't want to see no more of it.
I've been very clear about that.
We
from
don't
the
want to see no
start.
more of it. That's
It
what
was-
we're here for. And I've been told that we might not be able to stop it. Well, we don't want to keep people from doing what they want with their land. But we got to vote. Everybody up here's got to vote on it. And you're voting on a moratorium. Let's do it different than we did in Roberts.
Agree. That's why we're
let's get
taking
it.
this time.
I understand that. That's why I'm up here.
I agree.
And but I don't see anybody moving to Roberts to look at solar panels. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Master Tompkins?
All right. Well, Ms. Nye, I'm extremely proud of you, as I know your family is. I'm sure your teachers and everybody out at Cairo are, so that's a big deal to have that kind of an honor put on you, you know. And I can tell by your smile, you know, this is 2 times in a row, Judge. We've had people who have had just smiles that would light up a room. And that is a valuable tool too. You can make or break somebody's day sometimes by just being nice. So I'm glad that you have that friendly spirit. I hope you have the same drive on days that are hard as you do when they're easy, because it's important to have that drive on the days that are hard, and clearly you've got a little bit of that already. So again, we're really proud of you for that. And I'm just going to say one more thing about on from you, which was very good. Everybody talks about how personal things are with this issue. Couldn't agree more. But respect and kindness are not a hard thing to show. And I don't feel like that's always being done. We can agree to disagree on things, and when it comes to due diligence, I've gone above and beyond and then some. I drove to northern Indiana and Illinois to look at all these windmills. I'm out there every week doing that stuff. And I can tell you, the lack of respect that's been shown is appalling to me. I mean, it's right up there with the people that are shooting these solar panels. That's disrespectful. That's dangerous. What about these workers that work out there? What if they get shot? We don't want to talk about that. But again, I'm going to continue to do what I do. But I just want everybody to know that it can't be said that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. So I just want to make sure everybody hears that straight from me, and I don't want it to be a rumor. And if there's exception to that, it is what it is. Thanks, Judge.
Master Putnam.
Thank you, Judge. Now, I was sitting here watching that smile, and I see there's a couple people down that very first row. I can kind of get where that smile's coming from. You know, I know they're very proud of you, and I'm sure everybody at the school is proud of you. You know, again, you're a special. You're just one of few that's won that Judge's Scholar. So and it's based on more than just a grade. It's how you interact with people, just your disposition as a whole, kindness. So you're the full package. So I just want to congratulate you. And again, I appreciate the comments Tim and Taylor said. No sense me reiterating what's already been said. We're going to do the best we can, gather as much information as we can to make sure that whatever happens, we done it right. But I do understand Steve, Cindy, and a lot of you that are totally opposed to it. You don't like it. But again, I think Taylor said that we can agree to disagree, and hopefully it don't cause any friendship problems or animosity between us. We got a job to do. And Judge, I just say everything's good in the fourth. Thank you.
Mr. Gold.
Well, congratulations, Nia. It was a long meeting, and I told her we were going to start out by embarrassing her, make her come up here, take all these pictures, and then we were going to punish her by making her sit on a stool for hours. And she's done it well, and she has done it she's paid a whole lot of attention. You have a very impressive young lady here. You have a lot to be proud of. Keep going, keep excelling. I believe that you can make a difference in this world, not just in the future, but today. I think you are doing it today, or you wouldn't have gotten this award. So congratulations. As everybody knows, I haven't been quiet about how I feel about some of these green energy projects, but I try to be a problem solver. And one thing that I heard earlier today was questions about glare and glint from the solar panels, and I would recommend we maybe look into some sort of online portal where people could report when and where they saw online or saw the solar glare or glint, that would help create some sort of record of when those things occur and what angles, because the point's well made that it is a scientific thing. But gathering some of that and getting that to some sort of experts that look at those things, I think would be important. And that's since we're asking for help from the public, that would be a great way that they can do that by helping build that database of when and where those things are observed. So just an idea. And I want to reiterate again what was said earlier about the volunteer fire departments. Our volunteer fire departments do so much for so little, and too often with so little. And I want to thank them for everything they do. I had some good talks recently with some other folks with a fire chief, and talking about how recruitment and retention is so hard of those folks, and anything we can do to help them recruit and retain folks is so important, because they are our first responders for so many important things once you get outside the city limits. So just thank you to them. Other than that, things are good in the county attorney's office, and have fun at Talkaholics. You've got a good host there.
Thank you. Magistrate Berry.
Thank you, Judge. Now, congratulations again. I know you've heard this over and over, but I've got a bad thing for you. There's going to be a test before you can eat. You got to remember everything we went over today. You got it? I think you do. No, I'm joking. I always say that.
How much was that dump truck again?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So congratulations. Have a big day. You've got off to a good start. Thank your family for being here. We're glad to have her. She's a very nice young lady. Thank you. And I'm glad everybody's here that stayed. And we got a lot of concerns in Henderson County. And believe me, we're very, very, very concerned about this issue. We're concerned about all issues, just like spending money today. I don't know if anybody figured out what we spent. We had to spend money. You got to, and we don't do that lightly. We're very concerned, and we try to be good stewards of the county money and everything. We're concerned. Never think we're not. I agree with Tim and Taylor over there. We just don't never think we're not. We think about it all. I think about it all the time, and I know they do too. So just hang in there. Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Starks.
Thank you, Judge, and also appreciate everyone either here in person or online that have joined us for overtime for Henderson County Fiscal Court. But that's how it goes sometimes. We do have a lot of things that we have to take under consideration. And so, Nia, I think you got a good taste today of all the things that county government is involved in, at least a few of them. There's still a lot more out there that we could talk about, jails and solid waste and things like that, but we don't have time. I do want to say congratulations to not only yourself, but to your parents. That's where it all starts, is in the home. And obviously they take your education very seriously. Knowledge is power, and they can never take that away from you. So keep that in mind. Keep up the good work, and keep doing what you're doing. You are on the right path. And that's that smile just melts you. I mean, I lost my train of thought. Be safe out there. It's Halloween coming up Friday, and unfortunately we had the East End trick or treat that had to be canceled at the last minute, so there'll be a lot more, I think, ghosts and goblins out there looking for some treats. So just be extra careful and always follow the safety rules. I won't go through those, but again, hope everyone has a great Halloween. And I did want to let folks know the Green River District Health Department Board meeting is tonight in the Winsboro at their offices on Breckenridge Street. Starts at 6:30. That is open to the public, and we'll be talking about things related to public health and the services in Henderson and throughout the Green River District. Looking forward to the Veterans Day program. I don't think we'll meet again before then. So that's at South Middle School on Veterans Day, and that's always a great program, a great way to remember our veterans. So encourage folks to check that out. And as Keith said, I don't know that there is a day that goes by that we don't think about this, but so many other important issues that face this county. And I do appreciate Taylor and Tim, and they help keep the rest of us on the court informed and up to date on what is happening out there with the solar farms, because sometimes we don't get out there every day. But again, we're doing the best that we can, and that's what we pledge to continue to do. That's what we swore to do, and that's my intent to continue to do. So with that, turn it back to you.
Thank you, and congratulations again. Yeah, congratulations, Mom and Dad. This meeting took so long that I think you should probably get lunch and dinner out of this deal. But you certainly saw a government, I think it's best in that the wide array of issues all over the map, interaction, things that have people feeling very strongly, things that seem boring but are not, at least not to the people they impact. Everything from spending money to worrying about homeless people. I mean, that's what makes this work, enjoyable and interesting. And we need very smart people like you who grow up, I'm sure, wanting to do great things, to think about running for public office, because we need good people doing this. So don't let this long meeting turn you off from ever wanting to think about doing something like this. Actually, I would hope that it would kind of energize you a little bit, even though you had to sit on a stool the whole time. So congrats. You should be very proud. You should be very proud. Thank you for being with us. I do want to say that I want to reiterate the Planning Commission will soon be calling, hopefully, within a normal amount of time, the next finding of fact public hearings. And that's plural. It may take more than one. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. And that will be a very important meeting, because from that information, all the information they gather, they will begin to, the Planning Commission staff will begin to draft an ordinance related to wind turbines. What happens after that, once the draft is done, they'll present that draft to the Planning Commission, and there will be another public hearing. People can make comments about the draft itself. And once the Planning Commission agrees to recommend whatever they end up with in that draft ordinance, it will come to us for either agreement, disagreement with it, sending it back for more work, or we can completely take it upon ourselves to hold new public hearings and edit it as we see fit as well. That could happen too. That's probably going to be a ways away, but I do want to say for that next hearing, please be there, offer your opinions to the Planning Commission. They are eager to hear from you. I do want to give a huge compliment to the work that Magistrate Tompkins has done. He kind of inherited this controversy, and I guarantee you he has done everything he could to try to be responsive, to gain as much knowledge about it as he could, to try to be a good sounding board and liaison between the solar companies during construction and the people of his district. That hasn't always been pleasant, and it's unfortunate, because I know in his heart what he's tried to do. And again, emotional topics sometimes bring out the worst in us, but I know that moving forward, I just hope everybody understands that Taylor is absolutely somebody who works for the people of his district, all the people of his district. And I hope everybody understands that in any part of his district or any other, there are people who have very different opinions about this topic, very different. So we represent all those people, all of the people on both sides of this issue. So I commend you.
Thank you, sir.
Keep doing what you know to be right. Our job is to let the process work itself out, let everybody get their say, let the planning commission do its work, and then eventually it'll come back to us, and it'll be time for us to have the serious discussions as well. So thank you for being here, and with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor can leave.